You are live at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, live from the 16. Check out the Hudson on PCP when I'm dusting. Infidels off. The spark from the lyrical blunt make me I grab my nut, get screwed. Ow, here comes my Shaolin style. And it's MSG straight from Staten Island. Here, you guys, on the AEW Dynamite Light the Fuse review. We're waiting for the run-in from El Sexico himself because I think we got some Trailer Park Boys references to discuss, absolutely, on this episode of AEW Dynamite. Yalla! If you can't get the real McCoy and Silvio, and you never know, you got to go for the next best thing. I made him into a clone. That's right. I took some of Silvio's DNA. I took a little bit of MSG, and then I put it in a Petri dish, swirled it all around, and got you a new clone. Chilvio clone. I like it, man. I might make 1,000 of them. Let's see how this one works out. See if we can get through one show or not. Chilvio, how are you?
Pops, how's it going? Welcome back. We're here for another edition of Light the Fuse. And we're going to get things rocking and rolling. Yeah, I'm excited. MS Chilvio here. I'm your host on the scene where the air is green, and I'm definitely lighting up green. Your boy, MS Chilvio, MSG. You can follow me on Twitter. What's going on, Pops? I'm here. Ben, Mr. Bossman. Hello. Nice to see you, sir.
Yeah, man. I got Popsy today a bunch as I was on with the Hustler Rip Rogers and Chopper Von Lilas and Dr. Ted. What a three-man crew that is out there trying to deal with some technology and StreamYard because Rip is great with tech. He loves it. He can't get enough of it. And then jumping on with what up, Roos? My boy Vince Russo, and trying to get the Discord sorted out tonight. I think a tweet just went up, signal flare from him, saying we're going to give it a beta test tonight in the watch-along room in there. So if you are a Russo TWC Patreon subscriber, thank you, first of all. But you guys have the link in there to join up with us tonight over there as we try and test some things out. And you know, hopefully everything goes smoothly as anything will happen and is known to. In Discord, we're learning it, but you can join that and interact with other great Russo brand subscribers, and you do the same thing with Hamin Media Group as well, you guys. And it's all thanks to Colin Wysong and Gam Wolfers, to our producer and a great Hamin Media Group participator, really taking that Discord culture, teaching me about it, teaching us about it, setting it up to this. It's beautifully structured for every show that we have on both of those, Hamin Media Group, and even, you know, other things that are in there that interest us as well, from Smiz to hunting to whatever it is. You can join that. And then on Russo's, we're just getting that kicked off, and it's going to be an awesome playground for the hardcores, man, to really enjoy it. And let's keep it as professional. There's a reason why HMG and Russo brand is on top with the best subscribers, the best listeners, because we talk at a higher level, because we have professionals around us all the time. Stevie Richards, Steve King, Hustler Rip Rogers, the late great Animal himself, and part of the Hamin Media Group, Killer Cross, Follow Ba. All these guys are in the background. We had Zicky Dice this morning in the chat, right?
Really?
In the chat. You hit me up. We on Twitter afterwards. Absolutely.
NWA wrestler Zicky Dice, right?
Yeah, man. So you never know who's going to be around or who's listening. So that's why we keep it. Yeah, we keep it raw. We like it raw. We like that real uncut, but we keep it professional too, man. So that's why what separates you guys, being able to hang around made guys. So earn your keep. And I know you guys will in the Discord, and the locker room polices itself. So we'll do good things, man. I'm excited about the whole Discord. That's just another underground media outlet. I love that shit, bro. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, we definitely have ours popping as well, guys. If you want to join the Hamin Media Group Discord as well, you can always jump in there. I am also myself, Colin, and I didn't know that Lone was, so that's good to know. We are quote unquote moderators, or I think Jeff Lane's even a moderator in there as well too. So like, if you have any questions, you can also hit us up, and we'll make sure that things are taken care of. As I posted on Twitter, I'm not going to send you the link, bro, because like obviously then I'm just sending out Discord links, and that you need to have access to that to your Patreon. But if you, for some reason, your link doesn't work, and I can see, and you show this to your Patreon member or something like that, then obviously we'll make sure you get in.
Yeah, I need to put the permanent link at our Patreon as well, just for everybody in there as well. That please remind me to do that later today, so I don't let that go, because I did that for Russo's as well. So early beta testing. We appreciate you staying lucid and fluid like Chris Silvio would want you to, and staying with us as we get some of the strategies and things ironed out and have some fun with it, man. I'm pumped about it. So I already see Amp Williams in the house. Jay Hal, he's around and always on the job, is talking to old Athers who just interviewed PCO. Like I said, Ted's with Rip, man. Everybody just killing it out here, especially on a day when everybody else is worrying about Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, states and voter fraud. Yeah. Are you fucking surprised? Are you shocked that every actor plays their part and that these little terror cells of inside fucking voter fraud, vote scam is going down? Are you really fucking shocked about that? Well, then, no, the answer is no. I know you're not. So let's not have a reaction. You're in the right house. You're in the right spot. So we'll just keep the talk, how we usually do here, real. And if there's something breaking news wise that we got to break in with, I will. But it seems to me this one's going to the lawyers already. You don't want a UFC fight to go to the judges. And that's exactly what the fuck is happening here. And that was well determined beforehand. And all the fear is a control method, man. So, man, METHOD, man. Silvio, what's going down on your neck of the woods, brother?
Oh, right now up on HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com is the brand newest episode of the Star Trek Academy podcast with Triple D and JDE. So that'll be up. And then when we get done, I've already ingested everything. I just got to put the clips in now. The new episode of the New Force Order will be up later this afternoon on hackerhamin.podbean.com. Other than that, I did a interview, or I guess you might say it was interesting. It was more just kind of like a introduction, relaxation session. I had maybe like a 2 to 2.5 hour conversation with Rad Rob from the RTW Rewind show, which will be on this Sunday. And then actually we ended up talking like via Skype for the next 4 hours, just like getting to know each other, getting to know each other about. Yeah, he's really had a lot in common with him. Nice guy, great guy, awesome guy, obviously. And so yeah, check out the RTW Rewind if you haven't. That'll be up this Sunday. So it's more like my reflection, almost a little bit of a wrestling fan, like how I started, how I got into it. So if you're interested in that, if you're not, I totally get it. But it was a fun podcast, and I had fun doing it with Rob. So,
and they were just released 55 Live. That's a great talk too, man. I appreciate those guys. And you don't need to have the clone. I can power him down now that the real McCoy is here, baby. He's back and he's looking better than ever. Drink in hand, no, but somebody did, and we're going to talk all about it. It's the one, it's the El Sexico Chris Silvio, you guys. He's welcoming back, obviously, the leading star of your Light the Fuse AEW Dynamite review.
I prefer to refer to myself as the sexy front man, the muscular mayor, the technical wizard, if you will, here at Light the Fuse. But I'm good, boys. I just returned from PT, physical therapy, for those that don't know that. And it looks like my test scores for my neck are going up. I can move it around a little bit, which is good news for a wrestler. So, yeah, nice. I'm feeling good today. Been hitting my workouts again for the last month. I can only train for 20 to 30 minutes, but fuck, it's better than nothing, right?
Sure, get the blood flowing so you're not losing anything there. But that makes me very, very happy, Sil. Very, very happy to hear that. It's been a busy, busy day at HMG. Man Beast is on the ground, boots on the ground with the Hustler and Von Lilas right now in Indiana, doing great work. Old Athers recorded with PCO this morning for extra content. Nice. The street team's blowing up videos. We hit 20,000, engagement and about 3 to 4 grand in views, man. So doing 15 to 20% conversions. I just couldn't be happier with everything. The Patreon subscribers in the first 2 weeks of launch, dude, and plenty of future opportunities that I'm going to need your advice on, especially as we talk about RIP and the online coaching. I know Beast can talk to you about some stuff, so I'm all ears to hear strategy. So I'm just really excited about the wide open space that we have to do some new stuff on. We really turned a corner in the last month to 2 months, and it's exciting times, man. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah. Hey, I don't know if this is fake news or not, but I read something on social media, and Ben, I feel like you're the only one that could really answer this accurately.
Okay.
Is there, in fact, a angry group outside of HMG headquarters chanting "Stop the show! Stop the show"?
Yeah, I mean, they're out there. Group is out there, but they're on the surface. We're 200 feet below the ground. Like, there's no they think what they see up there is what it is. I mean, and that's just it just makes me laugh. I like to go up there and tease them a little bit to make sure to get them riled up. Everybody, like I said, every actor has to play their part, So, and some of them might be paid actors that I put out there as well, because I like to get them fired up. That's just what we do. So we'll see if they take to the streets and go and rob and steal, like I hope they will.
Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Maybe they were actors, civilians, lobbyists. It's hard to tell these days.
I know a lot of actors, and they're all out of work. So I'm just trying to pay it forward. That's one thing. So I hired them there. And you know what today is. So it's remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. I know for no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. But what of a man? A man had an idea, but a man can die. Where an idea can live forever. Wow. Yeah, man. The 5th of November, Guy Fawkes Day, the day of anarchy against the patriot, the oligarch, the system that keeps you down where you should be in your Les Miserables on the barricades of freedom fighting for it. And here we are in a holding pattern, doing exactly what they want us to do, and we just have to sit there and take it instead of saying, nope, let's scrub this whole process. Give me a general to run this country for the next year, and we're going to do this thing for real all over again. Instead, we're all playing our part. So,
speaking of actors, Matty over there looking cool in his Silvio attire.
Well, Matty's not here. That's actually a clone. I took some of I had Genevieve Muscle swab you while you were sleeping, and I have your DNA on file like I do every HMG affiliate or producer. And then Matt is down actually in the bunker down here. He's only about 2 stories below me at this point. But I obviously took one of his toes. And from that, with your DNA, I grew Silvio clones. And as long as the blood doesn't come out of the nose like the other ones, the early production models I had to, I think at this point, I might have it pretty close to getting 3 to 4 hours use out of it before I have to put it down. So I'm going to make 50, 60 of them.
Great. Is that a 3D printer thing?
Yeah, I've been working on organic 3D printing, resin printing. So we got a couple, some you just got to throw on the fires. Not every print is going to be perfect. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. So,
all right. Well, how the fuck are you doing over there, you clone you?
I'm doing quite well, sir. It's good to see you. It's good to be from you, a part of you, know you, and be the clone of the sexy God himself, the real sexy God. I listened to that other Billy Ray OC guy, and he keeps trying to be a sex god, but there is only one sex god of Hamin Media Group, and well, you're looking right at him. I'm looking right at him. I am him, but I am just a basis of him, and that is the El Sexy himself, El Silvio. Good to see you, sir, and happy to hear you're well.
Yeah, man. I actually did because you told me about the whole sexy debate. I did a Google search on the fella. What I've heard, he's a nice guy, but I couldn't find a single thing about him online, so I can't compare it to. Yeah, but if you search Chris Silvio, I guess I don't know.
You can't. You know what you can find online though is the finest coffee right now in the United States. And that's Russo Bro Coffee. Get your 5-pound bag of Russo Bro Coffee. Use the code Russo5LB. That's number 5 LB, and you could be sipping on some Russo Bro Coffee just like me.
Saves about $8 on the big 5-pounder before the new pandemic lockdown. We were saying we were pumped. The new Star Trek Academy is out with Triple D MacGyver, and I actually going to try and bring my buddy Big T on there, who's a huge Trek fan as well. So, just everything going real well.
That should be fabulous. What did Chris Silvio move to get to?
Still, I was doing watch along, old school OVW. I think it was October 11th, 2008, and you did the walk on. It was with Josie where you tried to hit on her. You talked about that you had gotten new tights and new gear, but you didn't have enough money for ring time. And then she said, "You don't have enough money for ring time. You think you can handle me? I don't think so." And then you're just shocked and awed, holding your dick as she walked away. And then she went and managed Dirty Money and Scott Cardinal and helped. I don't know if this was a good idea. I just watched it. It was APOC and Lilas with Jamin, DK and Lowry, Dirty Money and Cardinal, and Los Locos. And in the end, it was Money and Cardinal up, but Josie held the leg for the pin every time on the fucking thing. So the heat was on Josie to get her over as helping them as we first tied them together. But should we have done 3 hold the leg downs, because that buries Bill Clark as a total idiot at the end of the day, kind of. But all of them were really good and out of nowhere. So unless somebody was like, after the second one where they both should have been like, Bill, she held my leg, like everyone just kind of faded out. But it worked. But it was a good segment to watch. But that was one of the few times I've ever seen the Chris Silvio, even Sil on a bad day can take an L. But he got back. He got back in the long and short of that story overall. So
yeah, I'll have to check that one out. You know how I am. I just like getting in there and wrestling. I'll be entertaining, but I prefer to be promoing or wrestling. So I remember that not being one of my favorite angles, but it was one of those weird things in wrestling where on-screen chemistry leads to real-life relationships. So so it was all for a good purpose.
It all worked out in the end. But yeah, dude, she was dime piece in that, dude. That little black skirt she used to have, the silver lining. She looked great, man. And just to watch. I mean, some of them were, I won't call them journeymen because they weren't out. We were earning a little bit, but APOC and Money and Cardinal and a couple other guys that worked, and you as well before you got to OVW. But still, nobody's like the 10-year vet at that point. And, dude, just to see what I would call us all students to some degree of the wrestling college, the quality in strikes, snugness, timing, footwork. I can watch Raw, and it is not even half as good as what I'm seeing on OVW TV 2008. You know what I mean? I just can't understand. And same with AEW last night. There were some glom shots that were like tink, and like everything that when APOC raises up and gloms you and you drop to your Von Lilas does that one, dude, and you just drop. The difference is just unbelievable in 12 years from students versus people on the main roster and fundamentals of how they even strike, let alone get into spots, So I don't know, man. Dude, these watch alongs are good.
On those lines, I have something that will warm your cold black New York heart.
Good.
It's a stooge. So I don't want to get into it. So I gotta be beautiful. So I have to be a bit delicate as I breach this subject. But sure. I can confirm that Miss Jenna was in attendance for this week's tapings.
Yeah.
And she was fortunate enough to be able to attend 2 training sessions with Dustin Rhodes, which she was super excited to do, and I was super encouraging. And during those, they do. Well, let me ask you, what do you think Dustin teaches in his classes?
I would say fundamentals and striking, probably.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
So that's something that we work on so often in Florida that upon, them seeing her in there executing,
she's going to stand out.
All of those details well, they seem to have favorable opinions. She got some compliments.
I know you're being humble, but Jesus Christ, if I was him and we're standing there, I go, look at her. God damn it. She's beautiful. She's jacked. She looks like a power lifter. Oh, she can do Muay Thai. And on top of that, she does a painted face character. Oh yeah. I'm probably going to take a fucking chance, boys.
And she can chain and do defensive.
And she can chain. Well, I'm saying before the bell even rings, that's what you got. Before the bell even rings, you got that.
So she was very pleased to be able to train with Dustin. I was happy for her. So she seemed to do pretty well there. We'll be likely seeing her on our screen in some fashion in the coming weeks, and hopefully there are a lot more training and wrestling opportunities to come.
Yeah, dude, I was pumped when I saw it. Well, first of all, congratulations. Wonderful, wonderful job. We're very proud of you and happy for both of you. That's a great accomplishment, and the door's open. Obviously, the door is going to be open. There's no way it can't be. And there's an ever-changing landscape at AEW, it seems right now, and they're also hiring. They just hired, and maybe this is part of our news, 2 new talents. I believe they added to the roster as well. And I looked up the one kid. Yeah. Shit. Let me see. I'll bring it up here.
Broster doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Broster. He usually has these notes ready to rock.
He lives in Denver now. He's so fucking high right now. He doesn't know what show he's on.
It's not MSG. It looks like MSG. It's not MSG.
MS Silvio, bro.
MS Silvio. You gotta. I can't think of the dude's names off the top of my head, but I think the one kid looked like the black athlete that everybody would want in any sport, because he's just carved out of stone, and he looks like, he could be a football star. Yeah. He could be a track star. He's got that, EST Bianca Belair quality.
Is he a tall, slender, muscular gentleman?
Yeah. 1 second here.
AEW Wrestling has signed East Coast wrestlers Vigilante Anthony Bowens and Platinum Max Caster, who will be working together as a tag team going forward, named The Acclaimed.
All right,
dude. I mean, here's the thing that you could say easily too, because they're already calling Private Party Street Profits Light or whatever, right? And now these guys are going to come in. Are they going to be New Day? Are they going to be badass black dudes? Like, they're going to be athletic as fuck, because you look at them and you're like, oh, okay, these guys are going to do some crazy shit. But I got to go with our WWE training, and this is marketing training too. When it comes to wrestling, there's only so many spots. And if I already got an athletic black guy tag team, okay, WWE's got a set on each show, and they got the militant, hardcore, badass black guys too. Like, I'm not trying to put it in perspective of like, because they're black, they can't be on the roster because we already got that flavor of the rainbow. But like, there is something to be said in a marketing way like that. Like, it's going to come down to, are these guys together? Are they going to take their spot? Because that's just the way the circus works, man. It's nothing to say you can only have X amount of a certain race on your card. But that is, in an entertainment way, how things are booked. I don't
see 2 pandas at the zoo. I only saw 1, bro. Yeah.
I would just say that they present themselves differently to anyone else there. For example, if I were to walk into a company like AEW and there were 3 guys already wearing tie-dye, I would figure out a plan B. And just like any other, person, African Americans have such diverse personality types, interests.
Sure.
As you well know and just said, they certainly don't fall into 1 or even 2 groups. There's probably hundreds. So I would just try to make whatever they do as close to their hearts as possible so they can perform it and just present themselves differently, and they'll be all right.
I hope they do. And they look like, just that athlete that any coach would want on their squad. So again, I hope they don't take unnecessary risks trying to show athleticism, and that they work smart and that we work character with these guys. But my point is, they're hiring not just like, who did they bring in? Matt Cardona, some bigger name guys, and they haven't brought those guys back yet. They are hiring and investing in guys that aren't well known, that they can probably get at a decent price, but are still an investment in your future. Not that Matt Cardona isn't, but that's interesting to me. And then on top of that, that makes me even more positive for Jenna Van Mussel's opportunity to become a contracted star there after showing what she can do and what she can offer to the product. Because if it was just bring in your buddy and hire him at a high price and the indies are locked out, which I was worried about. I've said it many times when the 90-dayers showed up. Well, there goes these guys and these guys' TV time, and it has pushed them down, but we haven't seen them pushed out the door yet.
Right.
Now we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing the door open for younger and new talent. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
What's needed in AEW right now, I think, is strong fundamental wrestlers. I've never seen these two guys work. So, you know, maybe they are really good fundamentally, technically, I don't know, remains to be seen. But those that aren't, I definitely think should be doing things like attending Dustin Rhodes training with Billy Gunn, training with Cody, QT, anyone else, because that's the wave. If you guys have noticed, pretty much since the appearance of Serena, there's been a dynamic shift in the women's matches we see to becoming more fundamental based, less matches where a lot of things are crammed into it and people start, you know, missing cues and stuff. So I think that's a good thing, and we're going in the right direction.
I got a stooge report though that I read on the locker room this morning. I wanted your guys' opinion on it, and I agree with everything. Yeah, I like that, stooge. Oh shit! What? Let me see if I got it right here. 1 second. Sorry.
Are you sure you're not the one in Denver? You guys are fucked.
I had it right up here and then I clicked off of it. I'm just too crazy tech right now. But it was about Jericho putting out a tweet of
the election stuff.
Yeah, the election stuff. And then here goes. He's just pointing out, like, when before we had to wait 2 days, 5 days. Now they're saying 10 days. Isn't that strange? And he's donated to Trump's campaign. And that's fine. He can say that. But then out of the and it's not insinuating. I think it's just being like, let's keep an eye on things. You know what I mean? Like everybody's playing their part. But MVP asked him to delete the tweet. And then here's the one I got. Big Swole. Well, first Lance Storm comes out at him and is like, I even talked about this in my WCW promo in 2000. He goes, this isn't the first time it's happened. I'm like, you know, and Lance has been kind of Twitter thumbs-esque a lot this year in a weird way. And it's just these guys who are supposedly supreme workers selling for whatever reason instead of they were tag partners when they started out. It's not like Lance couldn't hit him up and talk to him. It's got to be in public. Then Big Swole comes out over the top and does like a Y2J stab on him and like tries to make him like ostracized a little bit. I'm just going, wow, dude. Wow. How bad of a move is that to not shut the fuck up, dude?
I think the big backlash that I saw was that he started his tweet by saying, I'm normally not political on here, which he isn't. If you look at Chris Jericho's timeline, as far as his tweets, it's not like necessarily political affiliation stuff, but I'm normally not political on here. And then somebody went and found his donations under his, you know, real name, Chris Irvine, his donations to the Trump campaign. So that's how it started out. Like, oh, I'm not political on here, but I do make
fine. That's fine.
Contributions, if you will.
The guy's a master politician. You don't hang in the cut with Triple H, Undertaker, Stone Cold, and HBK and Vince McMahon and do what he did without being a master politicker. That being said, big Swole to come out. What do you think is going to be the repercussion of that? Like, dude, what do you? I wouldn't doubt if she's on dark for the next year and pushed out the door based on the way the wrestling biz and based on the cutthroat nature of it. I wouldn't even fucking blink twice to be like, well, lesson learned, man. Kind of like, why would you think you could play with fire with the top guy and go at them like that? To me, that's one thing, Sil. People are way too comfortable in the locker room.
I can agree with you there, but I think the overall reason for that is that politics in America right now have become so incredibly polarizing, which is why we don't really delve into it on this show. And I certainly haven't seen anything like it in my lifetime. And I think as a nation, this is probably the most tense and polarizing it's been since the late 60s. You know, for myself, like, I'm not going to come out and put over any candidate publicly, nor am I going to talk about who I voted for. I'll say that I'm registered as an independent voter and I vote for who I feel will best do the job. But I think kind of what's fueling all this, the one political thing I'll say about those tweets and the election and everything is that I feel like right now we just set a very, very dangerous precedent with the current president for months now, going into great detail about these mail-in ballots and the fraud, and all the cases that they've looked into it. There has been really no evidence of such a thing. So let's say that there is absolutely no fraud, and he wins due to no fraud, and he wins. Well, now half the country is always going to question it. If he loses, the other half of the country is going to question it, and there is going to be violence as a result. So I think some of the messages we're getting are a bit dangerous for the overall good. If you're Republican, cool, as long as you're a nice guy. If you're a Democrat, cool. I don't give a fuck what you are. We could still be bros. Just don't be a dick, and preferably don't be a racist.
They definitely have caught people. And I know 2 cases of arrests in Indiana with voter fraud that were 2-3 months ago.
That's 2 cases.
Right. Those are
not a widespread system wide.
That's just in Indiana and Pence's state against Pence. Like there's in Michigan, they found 100,000 showed up between 3 and 4 a.m. in Wisconsin after everyone lays their little head down, and every one of them happened to be voting for Biden. We got to pump the brakes.
I'm questioning the narrative or the linguistic nature of saying votes just showed up, though. If the votes are already there and they then start to count them, is that what they're saying they're showing up?
And if all of them, while they were counting them from 3 to 4 a.m., every one of them were for Joe Biden, that wouldn't set your antenna off just a little bit?
I mean, it could have just been going through a section of voting, you know what I mean? Or they could have compiled it into different categories. I don't know, man. I'm not there, but you can watch it. Most of these places, they have the cameras on and you can watch them.
And it doesn't look like they do a reset and do it that way where just everyone, wow, each one of those. I've had a lot of Bidens lately.
The reason why I don't question that part that much is because Trump's message has been very laissez-faire with COVID, and he's been telling his base for months, don't trust mail-in ballots, show up and vote, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas the Joe Biden's approach has been more protect yourselves from COVID. So to me, it makes perfect sense that Democrats are mailing in these ballots, not voting in person, stuff like that. But here's where the message from Trump gets squirrely, because he's saying, stop the count, stop the count. But we got somewhere like Nevada, in Arizona, where he's saying, no, keep counting these damn things as they come in. So it's a double message. Don't count in this state, but count in this state. I don't
doubt that he has his terror cells doing voter fraud too. I'm not trying to sell either, but to deny that it is absolutely going on would be, I think, a little myopic on all of our parts. Big Swole statement to mine, and nothing too salacious, but just not staying small when you should stay small. To my knowledge, this is the second time, but to answer your question, no, it's not strange to me. I'm pretty thankful to the citizens that are counting these votes, especially during a pandemic. I pray they are safe and have helped to ensure a speedy yet truthful count. Nothing salacious, but you just don't stick your head up. Tucker from WWE, who was just squashed in 30 seconds and is probably on his way out the door, also sold for it. He goes, it's like 2000 never happened. CM Punk even puts over, I'm not a politicker, to get a double slam on him, whatever heat that is back there. Dude, they just can't stop with the wrestling Twitter thumbs, and it makes me laugh.
Don't argue about politics with your friends, guys.
I know, man. And that could go for one of our friends who gets in some vile fucking arguments with his people on his Facebook timeline. Come on, man. Let's be smarter about how we do business.
Remember the days where one person was one party, another was another. You didn't really go into that much detail about who you voted for. You weren't arguing. I know people now that won't even date somebody if they are not with their political party.
Dude, that's
crazy.
To me, that shows you're nothing more than a lab rat for propaganda, and that you're susceptible to it, and that you can't break out of it is insane. That you can't see how you're being programmed and be like, no, you're not going to do that to me, and use that as fuel against the system that's programming you. Instead, they buy right into it, man. It's unbelievable. WWF, it's unbelievable.
Well, my first story here tonight involves AEW. Speaking of WWE as well, as it appears that WWE has canceled their copyright or hold that is on the last name used by formerly, now he can return to it, Cody Rhodes. So earlier this week, it had been reported that WWE had canceled its trademark on Cody Rhodes, allowing the name to be freed up by Cody to use once again. He, of course, filed for the trademark on the name on April 13th, but WWE had filed for a late removal. It was claimed that the filing and payment was delayed because of COVID-19. Cody's trademark was refused on July because of WWE's filing. So it looks like WWE did give it up. And then Cody came out, I guess, last night on Fight TV after AEW and said, as of this morning, I no longer have just one name. Whether Justin Roberts says it or not, it feels good to be Cody Rhodes again. Mr. Silvio, do you think it's good for Cody Rhodes to be able to reclaim the lineage of his family?
Hell yeah. That's a great story. I read that this morning and I was happy about it. It was so weird to me at first when he was just Cody. I've gotten used to it now. So to me, it's not that big of a deal just for watching him, but I know it means a lot to him. And it just sounds a lot better. Like, imagine if my name was just Chris. Like, it didn't have quite the ring to it. So what I want to know, though, is Dusty. You know, how long are they going to hold on to that? Because, you know, he'd like to do some shit for his dad, Dusty Rhodes, you know, Hall of Fame ceremony, whatever it is, Dusty Rhodes Cup. So I'll be interested to see where that goes.
Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I talked about it on the locker room this morning, so I won't cover it all. Okay. But you know, there's one part of this is, did WWE actually give this up as a good faith thing? Because I read in the story that the copy I had up there, and who knows what's what, that because of COVID, that the payment to keep this under wraps for WWE wasn't paid. That's why the opportunity for him to take it came up. So it's not like, I think, am I wrong, or is it not being painted like in this, oh, we'll finally let Cody have his name? It's just the fact that whoever was the 260 who were furloughed didn't make the payment to re-up the fucking trademark. They saw it, jumped on it, and now it's painted that way. I'm not sure. The copy I had painted it kind of that way, as not as a good brother gesture. And if it was a good brother gesture, is that a fuck you in the face of Ryback, who's been very critical and wanting the McMahons to die in the last week or 2 weeks he's cutting promos on, where they give Cody his just to be like, we'll never give you Ryback, you know, as an FU, because they're that petty and they are that brutal when it comes to this stuff. So just some other questions I have about how it played out.
Dude, I think it's far from a good brother motion. It's all financial. You could be correct that somebody just forgot to make the payment, but I think it also might be that it was an unnecessary expense. Like, literally think of how much money could they actually be making off of Cody Rhodes.
It only
no longer sell his merch.
It's only $350 to get the trademark.
You know, but like, what do they need it for? He's not coming back anytime soon. They no longer sell his shit. He doesn't get royalties from the network. It's useless to keep renewing it every.
It's super useful, dude. That is a propaganda. You fucking can go over there and start your own shit. But at the end of the day, we own the real fucking original brand and name, dude. That's like, all right, you can fucking know Coca-Cola, go start Coca-Cola, but you're not using the fucking name. You know, like that's there's massive value in Cold War alone and keeping and staying inside his fucking head while you're trying to go against them as a competition. That's a huge fuck up, in my opinion, of like the propaganda machine, the inside SS that Vince should surround himself with to fucking make sure those things, even in a time of furlough, aren't done. Because if they wanted a good brother and sell it to him, they could say, yeah, 30 grand, and he might pay it. But if they fucked up and just let it go, he might have been watching it every day because he knows the date's coming up, and they see they didn't renew it, and he bang and then spends $350 right there and gets it. And now he got it for cheap, as opposed to, all right, we'll release it because of these reasons. Those the way it's been painted. I'm not sure, bro. Like, that's two big different things. But for them to give it up, that's a huge. That's like North Korea going, you know what? We're gonna get rid of our 15% of our nuclear arsenal, like for no reason. Like, that's just not smart for them.
Either way, I'm glad it happened.
Me too. And me too.
Good for him. Now, did you talk about the Miro story at all about recalling his last match in the Friday locker room?
No.
That just came out then. Cool. All right. So here's Miro. Miro just put out I guess he spoke about his final match with the company, which took place on WWE Raw in a tag team action. And Miro revealed how the plans changed throughout the bout and how he had to protect himself from being buried in the match. He said, I was thinking about the last match I had on TV. I knew that this was my last match. It was me, Humberto Carrillo, against Garza and Bobby. The match started. We were supposed to go over. Next thing you know, I'm losing. Next thing you know, now Garza's beating me. Not Bobby, who I was feuding with, the other guy. I already have no wins against none of these people, so it didn't matter. I'm a professional. Cool. Whatever you want to do, that's what we do. So then comes the finish. It's a roll-up. The instructions were for him to leave the ring. Next thing you know, I see the ref go to his ear. Next thing, Angel goes up to the corner, raises his hand while I'm in the ring sitting from a roll-up. And I turn around and back of my eye, this is what he says, I see what's happening. I just charged him and I beat the fuck out of him. I just saw him there and my eyes turned red because I knew what they were trying to do. Rikishi always told me, you got to protect yourself. Nobody's going to look after you. And I just went there and I started clubbing him. Then he rolled out and I broke Joey Mercury's rule, which is if you're babyface and you lose, you never raise your hand. But I just so wanted to stick it up to everybody and say it doesn't fucking matter who wins or loses because I'm Miro. And he just raised his hand. And that was it. I came to the back. Vince said that he was going to give me a bonus. He said I'm going to give you a bonus because you're trying to bury out there, pal. You really took care of yourself. So, yeah, I guess that's – and then he said he got a text message the day of and about his actual release. But I kind of wanted to talk more about that. What did you think about Miro itself, kind of having to protect himself there and going to business for himself there, little Silvio?
I believe it. And that's an interesting story. I'm pleased. We'll talk about it as we review the show, but I'm pleased with what Miro did last night in his work, and I think it was a good career move for him. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're known to do, and it makes business sense. I understand why they do it, especially when they're going to the competition, but still kind of shitty at the same time. Moxley had the same battle to fight, and he fought it. So it's par for the course. It's part of wrestling.
Yeah, but par for the course there, and he's doing his thing. Meanwhile, his wife goes through table number 7 this week.
Jesus.
Yeah, 7 weeks in a row.
7 weeks? Jesus, dude. Holy smokes.
They put her through the table, bro. 7th week.
Company you keep.
What were the numbers, MSG?
Yeah, let's get into that. I've got that right here. So AEW Dynamite ratings. Of course, AEW last night faced tough election coverage as those votes were still being counted during the home stretch of the 2020 election. MJF and Wardlow, of course, are going to take on Sammy Guevara and Ortiz. That was their big thing. And Miro making his singles debut against Trent, as well as the 6-man tag. So AEW last week suffered a rare head-to-head ratings loss as NXT Halloween Havoc outdrew AEW Dynamite to the tune of 876,000 for NXT to 781,000 for AEW. Since I haven't been here now 4 or 5 weeks, here are your last 5 weeks of ratings. Last October the 28th, 781,000. October the 21st, 753,000. October the 14th, 826,000. October the 7th, 753,000. And September the 30th, 866,000. So it does look like there has been a little bit of a gradual decrease over the last 5 weeks. And they're kind of just hanging around this 750 to early 800,000 mark.
They also were against Halloween Havoc, which was a big pay-per-view-esque kind of show, right? So I heard that was a good show. I didn't get a chance to see it.
And then, of course, last night's actual, I guess, competition would have been the election and NXT. Dynamite YouTube viewers last Wednesday at a total of 1,375,150, which was down from the previous week's total views of 1,676,000. The most viewed video last week at 342,000 views was Did Penta El Zero or Kenny Omega move on to the finals? The least viewed was that town hall with the tough questions, which is interesting, and that was the least viewed video. And the median viewership total for all the videos, as far as the average, is about 100,000 for all their collective videos together. There's your numbers for AEW last couple of weeks, and YouTube numbers. So that's interesting to me that the only got 40,000 views for the Eric Bischoff stuff, the town hall stuff. I mean, it would seem more topical being that we're in political season, or maybe it's just people are so tired of it. They were like, fuck this. I'm not going to watch it.
It only got 40,000 views. The town hall bit did.
Mm-hmm.
And the dinner debonair had to be at least like 750,000, huh?
I didn't bring that up. I can take that a look into that, but
that's interesting to me, man, that they're only getting 40K on a big, because that was their highest rated seg on that show, that town hall. So for it to not do well online is interesting to me. That means there's opportunity for somebody to be promotional help, like we plug in the Russo brand to drive that stuff. Why isn't that stuff being put out there? Seems like even in just the AEW forums alone, that segment should have done 400,000.
Let's see. So no, this is funny how they labeled it from All Elite Wrestling, but it's labeled Tony Award nominee Chris Jericho and MJF, Me and My Shadow. That got 460,000 views. That was on 10/21.
Really, Dinner Debonair is the only that didn't even do 500,000, huh?
You know what, man? My theory is that everybody that would be watching it for the most part probably already saw it.
The big segments,
so that's why they didn't go back.
Right, and it's already political season. Maybe that too. Like I already watched this. I mean, why am I going to go back and rewatch it again?
Why are we not? Why are we not?
But to your point, Ben, why are we not promoting it to get newer viewers who might have didn't watch AEW that night?
What is that? What is that segment? It's a musical theater showstopper.
Right.
Why are we not getting in front of musical theater people? Why are we not trying to get crossover outside audience where that's the opportunity to market something that's wrestle crap? They're going to be with you. We already got those people. How do we get it in front of Variety Magazine? How do we get it in front of Lin-Manuel Miranda? How do we get it in front of and have them promote it? Because all he has to do is retweet it once. And now Lin-Manuel Miranda's, how many fucking Twitter followers he got? I bet a fuck ton.
I don't know.
I'm going to look right now. But imagine if we can even convert a small fraction. The guy's got 3.5 million Twitter followers. He wrote Hamilton, if you don't know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why aren't we doing that? And why aren't we bringing in the cast of Hamilton to do something? Come on, guys. We got to think if we're going to do things that are outside of the box for a genre and show that we can show wrestling through any lens, we got to tap into that demographic.
They're on TNT. I mean, you could get in front of the larger hip hop rap culture audience with Snoop Dogg there and Cody Connection now from that TV show, right? I mean,
yeah. But I think
Snoop, and I'm not trying to be a stereotype, but a lot of my, African American friends growing up with, they were wrestling fans. They liked wrestling too. So I'm sure that's, they talk about in their rap and stuff like that, and in the rap culture itself. So I'm sure that there's a large section that's probably fallen off because of the product itself over the years. And how can you reintroduce it to that audience?
I think at minimum too on the TV show, they just need to plug the YouTube a bit more. If they were to take 10 seconds of airtime before each commercial break, and it was just, don't forget Dark is this Tuesday featuring Scorpio Sky versus Ben Hamin. Next one says, don't forget AEW's user channel, subscribe today. Like just little details like that every week, is just going to get the viewership of Dark up and probably get all of their videos up, frankly. Then once they do what you're saying, cross-promoting, we could start plucking in some outsiders. So it could start with just a simple fix of just mentioning it more.
Sure. Just the overlay, 8 seconds. You missed Dinner Debonair last week. You got to go to YouTube and have it in there. Or YouTube right now, the numbers are climbing, and go check it out again.
Or YouTube exclusives. Like, remember when they aired the Eddie Kingston promo that didn't air? They showed it on Dynamite the next week. They could do stuff like that on YouTube and advertise on the show. The only place to see this is going to be on our YouTube at 8 p.m. Some shit like that.
Can't disagree there. Well, that's all the stories I got for now. Don't want to go too much more. If you want to get more of the hot headlines, pal, head on over to Hamin Media Group's hackerhamin.podbean.com tomorrow, hackerhamin.podbean.com, and you can listen to the Friday Locker Room with Ben Hamin and Stevie Richards, and they'll break down all the hot news of the week for you. And now I haven't been here.
I got to put heat on you and some of the listeners, not because of anything you did wrong. It's what you didn't do, I should say, you fuckers. Because Fudge 420's in here says, I don't want to have to watch 6 shows to figure out a week to watch what's going on. I totally get that. So I just listened to HMG. And that's the problem, you bastards, because people are jumping all over me on Raw because I put go fuck yourself, #Raw. And everyone's like, wow, he must be pissed. They must have done something. They must have stole something else from him again and put it on there. No, they actually, in Firefly Funhouse, the fucking widow's fucking gimmick puppet sits up in the window and goes, go fuck yourself. And they bleep it out and fucking put a thing, but and then does it again. Go fuck yourself. So I'm like, all right, we're just telling people on Raw to go fuck themselves. I'm down with that. But
I'm done
Rip
with that.
Rogers should be coming out at any time with the best promo of the fucking year on Raw because he'll tell them all to go fuck themselves. And then even at the end, Bray turns to the camera and says, oh shit, and they bleep that out too. So watch the product, you guys. If I'm making a reference in real time, you know, you might have been right. I was probably saying it both ways, but they said it first.
Yeah, watch the product, guys.
I don't watch Monday Night Raw. I don't watch Raw. Okay, so that comment was from Kaz. The heat is on him. And he knows
there's my boy passing the heat, just like I programmed the Silvio. I programmed the Silvio clones to pass the heat. That was something I really programmed into the DNA. So,
hell yeah, yeah. This was a great Dynamite this week. I really enjoyed this show top to bottom. So Maddie, let's get into this shit, man.
Wait, before we get into that, actually, so I wanted to return to something we haven't done in a while. Is the Like the Fuse bag? I got a couple emails here, actually. So the first one I wanted to get was just our cousin Marky Mark. And now I'm not going to read through everything he said because this was from the October 7th edition of. But I liked there was a couple things in there I thought that was funny because apparently his wife happened to be in the room when he had Dynamite on, and you know how Ted likes to do his out of context stuff. Well, this was in context, and I thought it was pretty humorous. So here's what his wife had to say on some of the thoughts of AEW. She asked, "Why wrestling was on Wednesday again?" And I said, "It's AEW." And she said, "Oh, is that where Goldust is?" And I said, "Yeah, Cody Rhodes and Jericho." And she replied, "Yeah, I don't care about those guys." When Darby came out, she said she likes his face paint. I wondered if he did it himself. When she saw Anna Jay, she said, "Ooh, she's pretty." After we came back from a break, when Cody and Brody were in the dog collar match, she said, "What the F is that?" I tried to explain to her that a dog collar match, and she said that was dumb because they look like their feet are already going to get tangled up when they're moving. When Cody started bleeding out, she said, if this was the UFC, they would have stopped it by now. And then the last thing, when they were both bleeding near the end of the match, she said, "This is stupid, and who writes this?" I explained Tony Khan to her, and she said, "They don't have a TV writer? Why don't they have a writer like the ones they used to write for Stone Cold and The Rock?" Then she left the room. And then, of course, last thing he said is also P.S. Vince's appearance on Get My Go was great. I was a big fan of Switch Up September. It was good to hear some new takes on the various wrestling shows these past few weeks. Hopefully, you guys will continue to do that throughout the year. He does have a question, which I'm actually going to save a little bit because it's relevant to Serena, but we'll end Big Swole actually, so I'll save that a little bit later.
Sure.
So that was his thoughts on AEW from back then. So we appreciate your cousin Marky Mark. And then we got another one here. This one came in this morning. This guy is our host of the Star Trek podcast, John Enright, and he writes in, "I was wondering about your takes on rehabbing Lance Archer. He's gone after 2 titles and failed. Is there anything left to do with him? Also, we haven't seen Mr. Brody. Is this to cool him off, or is this something else? Would have emailed sooner, but I've been putting in those Hamin hours next Tuesday. Thank you and live long and prosperous, John D. Enright." So check out the Star Trek podcast. It's up right now. What do you think, Silvio? Could they rehab Lance Archer?
I don't know what you do with Lance Archer because not everyone can be the champ. There's only 2 singles belts, and you can't give it to everyone. So there is a road to take with him. It would take too long of a time for me to come up with this and then explain it. But my best advice would be to kind of make him a Bruiser Brody kind of character, just this ass kicker wild man that doesn't need a title. Brody was seldom the champion, but he was a big draw and a wild man, and people felt that fear and intensity. So I'd go that route with him. As far as Brody, I can only assume that they're giving him a little time off as they bring him back for the next whatever angle he's in, because he's been doing a phenomenal job. I can't see him getting sidelined. And also, we've had some COVID scares lately. So, Scorpio Sky this week was off TV due to being around somebody who had tested positive. So, could be a COVID thing.
Vote Incinerator.
That's how I won the match.
Vote Incinerator. How do you rehab my guy?
You're a winner by COVID.
Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk. How do we get him back on track, brother?
Not the outfit he had on last week, that's for sure. Whatever that was, or the week before.
Happy Halloween, brother.
I don't know what they did. We watched him. We watched him bury him on the first pay-per-view. The guy should be on a win streak right now. He should never have lost. Shouldn't be taken off his feet. I think the program is him killing Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy to have Luchasaurus be the baby face that breaks out. That's what he's already ruined as a heel, as the top level heel. They already took him down. So let him get heat on the comedy guys and be the big bully. And then the bully beater has to come in to beat him. That's the mini program. That's about all I can see right now to kind of give him something with some teeth to be a heel again that people actually hate, getting heat on baby faces that they love. A giant beating on the small guys and da-da-da-da. So that's about the only place I see fitting him back in right now. Sil, am I off on that?
No, I think that's pretty accurate. He's also a very experienced tag wrestler. So you could also put him with somebody like Wardlow. Wardlow could learn from Archer, and they could just be the ass kicker tag team, big ass tag team. Now they're in contention for the tag title belts, or if they're going to lose a match, they lose by DQ for excessive violence. So they never really have to get their shoulders pinned.
Yeah, they just took the bloom off this guy, man. That's the biggest problem. Like, they had a great property and they held it underwater and drowned it, and I don't know why.
Daniel Price in the chat room says that Brody has openly said that he feels like the Mr. McMahon comparison has ruined his run.
Well, he even said that. I don't think he said it ruined his run. He said that he didn't want to think it was what he was trying to do was Vince, which was like him saving face to the sheets. But yeah, dude, that was a Band-Aid on a broken leg of who's going to be the leader of the Dark Order. Raven, broken Matt Hardy, which would have been great. And now they're trying to get rid of it and put Colt in there, which I think Colt Cabana could be good, because that other dude Price wants to do comedy all the time. You got Player Uno and Dos, who were baby faces of comedy. That's what they did. Make Dark Order into like a fucking tongue-in-cheek fucking thing that does, slip on a banana peel stuff if you want, and have Colt be the solid wrestler of the group who's serious about it and has to try and keep his clown of misfits in line. But Brody is the one who needs to break out and become the Bruiser Brody of 2020 that we've been wanting for so long. But again, how do we get these restarts out of our mind? And what business do you start him off? To be honest with you, that could be the feud to elevate them both. I just don't know how we get into it. Murder Hawk versus Brody in a fucking big man's, like, you know what I mean? But how we get into that would take some serious discussion, longer than we got on this show.
Yep. I think Brody's going to be all right.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal, dude.
All right. Well, guys, that's some of the questions I had there. And of course, you can send in your mail. You can mail in your questions to lightthefusehmg@gmail.com. Or if you're in the Discord Hamin Media Group, just go into the Light the Fuse thread, drop your question or comment there, and I'll read it. And maybe I'll check it out here in a couple of minutes. And if there's any comments or questions in there, I'll read them throughout the show. But that is your introduction for now. Let's get into AEW's Dynamite. Of course, this show is provided to you by Russo Bro Coffee, Zordo's Olive Oil, Stevie Richards Fitness, ProWrestlingTees.com, Dippin' Donuts, a lot of places. So check that out. If you want to hear the full in-depth read, just listen to the
Ava Tulo Stutes, Cooperstown Connection, 7th Inning Stretch.
Can You Handlebar?
CanYouHandlebar.com. Use the code FALL2020 to save 20%. All kinds of great.
Hamin Media Group, or Patreon.com/Hamin Media Group, Rich Rogers Podcast.
That's a good. too. You should go there.
Yeah, like that. All right. Well, guys, let's get into the AEW Dynamite results. Of course, AEW, this was the go-home show for the Full Gear pay-per-view that is this Saturday. The Inner Circle is backstage, and they are interrupted by MJF. There is, of course, welcome to the show by Dasha Gonzalez, who's standing with Chris Jericho. And the Inner Circle talking about Jake Hager being banged up because he, of course, improved to 3-0 with his latest Bellator MMA win. And as he's talking, MJF jumps in, walks in with Wardlow, and he talks about his tag team match night. And he plans on going to Full Gear to win a spot in the Inner Circle. Jericho, of course, talks about his fellow Inner Circle members being a bit crazy in the head, having killer instincts, and said MJF just doesn't have that kind of killer instincts. He's got all the great qualities. He checks all the boxes, but he just sees them as a little bit soft. And then MJF tells him to just watch. Immediately follow that, we went with Le Champion joining in on commentary for the night. And then, of course, we had the first match, MJF and Wardlow taking on Ortiz and Sammy Guevara. Did you like this to start the promo, though, Mr. Silvio? El Sexy on yourself.
I did, yes. I really enjoyed this entire segment.
Okay, cool. Sort of sweet,
Yeah.
Ben.
I liked it, except for the fact that he did the soft and we missed the soft ball to Barry Enzo right there. You know,
Soft.
you know that and that would get here's the thing. This is kind of my overall note of what AEW is missing the boat on huge right now. WWE is not going to put you over. They're still fucking getting ribs on AJ doing things about playing for the minor leagues, talking about Impact. That's where their head's at. Okay. AEW is playing by WWE's rules in this war, and they don't have to. They can be the Viet Cong. They don't have to. They can be the Americans versus the Revolutionary War. They don't have to wear a red fucking jacket and stand in a line like WWE does to get shot. You can be the fucking terror group and take shots that drive them nuts. I would be calling things out from their TV show and laughing at them on there. And I would do an Enzo joke if we're not going to bring them in and fucking, you're soft. Don't say that shit around here. None of those assholes are showing up. You know, like, get some things that are going to have people on the sheets going, oh, snap. Did you hear what the fuck they said? Can you believe they did? And then people are going to look at WWE. And when WWE no-sells it, they're going to look like weak. They're going to look like, oh, they can't acknowledge while the world is talking. And then some Twitter thumb from WWE is going to sell for it like they are on Jericho stuff. And you got them. You fucking got them. The big fish are hooked on there, and you've lowered them off of your platform through terrorist tactics to fight on your ground. And AEW is woefully missing the ball on that. They should be taking 4 or 5 straight nut kicks at WWE every single week.
You know, it would be cool to have somebody like, I think the Bucks would be perfect for this.
They would be.
If they were in, say, like a Borat kind of get up where you couldn't really tell that they were the Bucks, and they were like outside of the Amway Center posing as journalists or reporters or something like that.
They just got banned, right?
Asshole questions, like showing up on their turf. And can you explain the reason for the ratings from this state to this state? Can you explain the continuity in your storytelling? Is there truth to the fact that you cannot, in fact, be called a wrestler? Like, that kind of shit, I think would get super over with the fan base and everyone would talk about it.
They kind of did a little thing. You saw the banned pictures list. Did you see that or no? Somebody leaked from backstage at
what happened was it wasn't necessarily leaked. There was a digital company who basically did kind of like an expose on WWE's digital things. Like won some award or nominated for some award because of the Thunderdome, right? And all the digital production that went into that. Well, when they originally made the video and released it, it had a quick, like a pan through, and someone noticed that there was a banned image list. They extracted that, and that's been making the waves. The video has been since edited. Obviously, it's not up there anymore, but the picture's already out there, and you can see the Young Bucks are banned. Impact's logo is banned. AEW's Kenny Omega, Ryback was on there. Enzo Amore, Cornette. You're right. Cornette was on there as well.
Released a shirt with their pictures from that are, it's like scrambled on there a little bit. So they are taking a little shot, but the Bucks, when they're saying that, even we got to put it on the line, it's about us, their promo, even though they're acting for AEW TV, they really do need to get back to that. they do need to get back to saying, even fuck AEW if they're presidents. They need to be ribbing their own company, ribbing WWE, and ribbing the business. That's how the Bucks got over, by doing shoot, bang, bang, by calling the Dudley Boys marks and things along those lines. Like, say WWE guys' names on there. Call out Braun for being on B12. You know what I mean? Say that shit, because they're either going to have to no sell for it and the internet's going to pick away at them until they do break, or they're going to sell for it and you win automatically. There's so many small wrestling traps to paint WWE into a corner every week. We need to start fucking laying them out there in AEW. That's a huge opportunity. Instead of taking the wrestling high road and they don't talk about us, so we're not going to acknowledge their product. No, that's a Vince fucking thing. Acknowledge the whole industry. That's your opportunity to do that. That's why Paul Heyman, our big boys don't play, they kick ass, and all those shirts and shit. It is a fuck you to WCW right in the public. And that endeared your fan base even more to become your advocates and to be your little terror cells that you can activate.
If I were booking the Bucks, I would have them either outside the PC or outside of the Titan Towers, pissing on the gate. Not real piss, so they're not breaking any laws, but
right.
The camera shots there, you're using the fake piss. Fucking perfect vignette right there. You know, then they say some cutesy line as they're walking off, you know. Or Matt looks at Nick and says, "That was a hell of a piss, pal." And then we cut. You know?
Any of that kind of stuff is where we need to be going. Absolutely, dude.
How young buck is that to piss on the fucking gate of WWE? That's
huge.
Well, nobody's in Connecticut, right? They could just do it right there and just do it right outside the office. You know what I mean? And maybe Vince will see it. God damn it!
And even if they get arrested, great. You know, it's good PR. It's gonna be in every news outlet.
Yeah, dude. This is the opportunity they have that WWE doesn't, and they're not capitalizing on it at all that I've seen.
Well, then we got the match start between MJF and Wardlow, Ortiz and Guevara. A decent match between two tag teams. I liked Wardlow. I think over the last month has really started to shine even more so as a character on TV. And he, just have his menacing presence, being a big guy that he is, and he looks good when he's in the ring. So I think that adds a lot to his credibility. He doesn't have to stay a lot, but I've heard him talk. He's on BTE. He's done some good talking, so he's not like he can't talk either. So I definitely think that's a good property for AEW. That he's going to continue to develop. But back to this tag team match itself. Of course, I'll let you guys break down the actual nuances and everything. Some of you are what you liked and what you maybe disliked. But ultimately in this match, MJF and Wardlow are victorious. MJF picks up the victory after Matt Hardy. I'm sorry, not Matt Hardy. Guevara was getting ready to head back in the ring, playing to the crowd. He saw someone wearing a Serpentino mask in the front row. Person behind him, his head removed the mask, revealed it was Matt Hardy. Fans started chanting delete. MJF then locked up Ortiz in the ring with the submission finisher, the Salts of Armbar, and picked up the victory. So I thought this was a good match. What do you think, Silvio?
Really strong opening segment from the promo through the match. I really enjoyed it. Sammy Guevara was the shining star of that match. He made this big fiery ass comeback, and he had legit fire. His shit looked crisp. He was doing these wacky but super athletic twisting suicide dives. I don't think I've ever seen those before. Then he does that springboard 450 off the top to the floor where he was going to kind of come down like a body splash or double axe. I think when their contact was a little bit off on that, but it was impressive nonetheless. Then we had Matt Hardy pull off the Serpentico match and throw a chair at Sammy's face.
I like to say Serpentino because this is America, okay?
Right.
America.
And then that distraction caused MJF, who had been on the cell, to catch Ortiz in the armbar. So I thought really solid opener for a TV wrestling show. Told a great story all the way through. And I really like what Wardlow's been doing, staying on his feet in his matches. I want to see that continue, and as his timing improves, he'll be a big gun for them.
Yeah, Wardlow's an absolute star. I mean, he's there, and I don't think he's ego-driven. I think he could be even more egotistical after he breaks off of MJF. I look forward to seeing more charisma come out of him, but I like the fact that he's pretty straightforward right now, and I do like that he protects his size. Whoever's agenting him is agenting him the right way, so he remains strong. And this was good with Inner Circle based on the little heat stuff that we've seen with dudes from LAX saying "F you MJF," and even going back to the jacket thing. We could have got a comedy jacket spot in here to pay that business off right here. But this was fast-paced, hard-hitting action right out of the gate, and it was violent, and it was in the storyline where it should have been. The mid-card guys who are marginalized versus the dudes who are in the front of it, and it's the power man and the main player up how it should be. So it was good. You're muted.
I miss Silvio over there.
Sorry, I'm a little too chill. My bad. So immediately following the match, we see Chris Jericho sitting at commentary, putting over the victory. But MJF charges up the stage and attacks Chris Jericho. And then we see Wardlow and Jake Hager start slugging it out a little bit. Finally, MJF and Wardlow back off, and then the camera closes in on Jericho, holding his face, smiling as that killer instinct he was looking for showed up here. He liked that. Yeah, pal, I like that. Give it more. So I like this. I like that. I mean, I like this. I like that. I like this and that. So it's good. Then we had Tony Schiavone sit down with Kenny Omega. And, I don't have it here in front of me because I don't have control of the show. But if I did, I would pull up the picture of Kenny Omega sitting there with Tony Schiavone. Because if you looked really closely, ladies and gentlemen, sitting on the desk, if someone wants to look it up, post it, tweet it at Hamin Media Group, there was a picture of Ben Hamin. Somebody was sitting there. I think Ben Hamin was in his house.
It looked like Hamin.
Didn't it? It looked like Hamin. So if someone could get that picture and post it, I'd appreciate that. I'd like to know how.
Fucking Stooge. We've been asking all these months who the Stooge is. It's fucking Ben.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Well, what are you going to do? And that's why I made Shivani sit on the frumpy couch, because you can't look sexy sitting on a frumpy couch like that. It makes you a frump yourself. So put him in a salmon polo and get him out there. I don't know. This was a weird.
It was a little weird, man.
This interview didn't go how it should have, I think. And the Omega we want and need, this wasn't the setting. This wasn't the promo going into all that, dude, to recount. The big package they did later, though, was really good to retell the story. But this part coming off of Kingston and Moxley the last couple of weeks with the pre-produced promos, this should have been a lot more like that than it just felt like. I don't know, your neighbor came over to borrow some sugar or something.
I liked
it.
Think
so.
Did you? I didn't. I wasn't terrible. I just wasn't feeling it.
I'm a huge Tony Schiavone fan, so I'm a bit biased there. But for Omega's part, I thought it was a strong promo. That might have been the best promo that Omega's cut yet in AEW. The only thing that I was a little uncertain of, and it's another one of those Silvio's going to wait and see, is the promo came across quite heelish. So yeah. I'm going to see where they go from there. But I thought it was very strong promo work from Kenny.
I thought the segment, personally, I thought the segment was a little, I don't know, it fell a little short for me, just a little bit. Like it didn't, I wanted to maybe get a little bit more intensity from Kenny Omega. There was a little bit at the end when he was like talking about, oh, everyone thought this was predetermined. You know what I mean? And then he said, well, I thought I was going to end up taking on Wardlow. That's why my pick was. So there did seem to be some buildup in the promo for sure. I thought he ended well, but I thought the initial buildup there with his dog and all that, it just seemed a little cheesy to me.
Yeah, that part was. I'll tell you the stooge on the picture. The stooge. I bought EC3's condo at a reduced rate. I put my own pictures in there, and now I rent it in Jacksonville as an Airbnb. They needed a spot to shoot that. They didn't change out the artwork. I wish. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you want to tie it all together, it's just Airbnb stuff.
And it's just what, like extra $60 a night for the dog, if you want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the dog's a war. Stay there. I got to make sure everything's going down the right way.
I think MSG is trying to get out of her to slam, so I want to check on him. He's down there.
No, get down there.
Sorry, just truthfully, I don't mean to rat him out.
That
kind of a douchebag, you know.
You're programmed to stooge. That's your whole thing.
No, okay, well, there you go. So after that, we got what I thought was the best match of the night: Trent versus the best man, Miro. So
actually, I gotta take a break. Did you hear that you got buried too?
Me?
Yeah. Well, a lot of you guys, except for Silvio.
The culture vulture stroke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I made it. I mean, that's chill, bro.
Also, I want to call you out for being the biggest hypocrite in the wrestling business. Maybe not the biggest, but you are a hypocrite. I'm going to tell you why you are a hypocrite. You talk about marks, staying indoors, doing all this crap. You talk about marks, this and that, mark this, mark that. But you've got marks working for you. You got marks on your platform who does shows with you, and you always dissing marks. You're a hypocrite. If you hate marks so much, if you're always dissing marks, why have you got marks in your platform? You are a mark yourself. You're an imposter and you're a phony. That's what you are.
I knew that gets still that last one.
Well, if you'd like, you can go to my Twitter at Matthew_Shaver. Pinned to the top is my commentary for Without a Cause Wrestling between Hammerstone and Chris Bay. But go ahead and check that out.
Dude, I was in a bad mood yesterday, and I tried to watch a couple hours of comedy clips to make myself laugh. Couldn't fucking laugh. 30 seconds of this guy calling MSG a mark, and I'm cracked up.
I guess I am the mark because I'm the or maybe Rick Vickery would be the other one too if he's referring to the Monday Locker Room.
You thought I was done. Now I'm back. First of all, I'm messaging you as I'm concerned for your health. I am your father figure, Ben. You are my pickney. You are my spunk. You are my sperm. That's what. And I feel that I need to check up on you after a while.
He's got a good heart.
No, you're an embarrassment. You're fat. You're overweight. And as your father figure, it's really concerning me. What about diabetes? What about all that crap, Ben? I'm just messaging you for you to remain on your purpose, remain on your diet, keep lifting weights, keep going in. Don't be eating pieces. Don't be eating chocolate, and stay positive. You fat crap. Fuck you.
I like Fudge's comment. He's got a good heart. Silvio can spin anything.
I was joking, Fudge. But he kind of sent you a motivational message.
Yeah, motivate you. Stay positive. Fuck you.
Oh man! After COVID, we're booking that match. I don't care if I got to go.
It's a compliment sandwich. You know what I mean? Hey there, stay positive. Go fuck yourself. Have a good day. All right. Well, getting back now into AEW, I'll try to not to be too much of a mark, but we had Trent taking on the best man, Miro. Now, something that I liked, they kind of briefly started talking about a fact that I guess Russo or Miro was the young boy for Trent when they first started in the business. Now, they alluded to the fact that they're going to give you a full recap on the history of these.
That popped me. They said FCW.
Right. Well, what I was going to say is that to get a full recap, which I'm assuming is going to probably be video package and interviews, they said to check out Friday's countdown to Dynamite. I would have liked maybe a little bit something of that. Give me a little preview of that, some sort of clips, just a sort of Excalibur talking about the background. But that was cool because as soon as he told me that, now I became just something simple. Now I'm intrigued. Oh, really? Miro used to be his young boy? That's cool. And this match was just really good. A little long, I thought. Maybe could have been shortened down for about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. But other than that, overall, great match. Ultimately here, Miro picks up his first victory after some outside shenanigans. But Miro ends up getting the victory here itself. What do you think of this match itself, Silvio?
So Miro in AEW, I absolutely loved. He was getting over with the Rusev Day stuff, but I never really felt that because I felt it was a little too lighthearted. This is an ass kicker. He protects himself. Just that story you told about leaving WWE, he really knows how to protect himself during his matches. He whooped Trent's ass and made Trent work for everything. That's what I really appreciate about this match. anything Trent got in on him, he had to work for it. And then Miro would shut him back down. Why? Because he's a big Bulgarian badass. So it does not make sense for Trent to whoop his ass pillar to post, regardless of how good of a wrestler Trent is. And Trent is a phenomenal wrestler. So I really like that. AEW is a very good fit for him. I like how they were tying in the Trent's mom stuff at the beginning and at the end. I didn't like the very last part of the end, which I guess, Matt, you'll go over, but good performance from them. I thought they both did a great job. Home run for both of them.
Yeah, the tail end of this match was a little bit schmoz, right? Because during the break between the segment, we had the Dark Order come out and they attacked Orange Cassidy. Now, I guess recently on an episode of BTE, at least that's where I remember. I don't even know if it was on Dynamite last week, but John Silver is going to now take on Orange Cassidy. So that was at least dropped on BTE, but I totally forgot about
it on the show too.
Okay, they did, because otherwise I was like, why is he attacking Orange Cassidy, and why is this happening during the break of all things? And then we came back from break, and if you didn't watch, or if you maybe walked away or something because you weren't on a commercial break or something like that, they came immediately back, and the Dark Order had already been kicked out of the area, and they had to explain what had just happened, and that the fact that John Silver was going to take on Orange Cassidy did Orange Cassidy eventually get was that late? No, that was later on in the match. There's a lot of Orange Cassidy and John Silver throughout this match, throughout the night. But eventually, as I mentioned, Miro does get the victory. What did you think, Ben?
Yeah, Miro's really good, man, and safe. His stuff looks really strong, but he's missing by a good inch and a half. Even in his camel clutch, when he does the S lock on it to lock his hands, he's not even on the guy's chin. When you see me put it on, I'm stiff as shit. I fucking crank it right on there because I want the guy's face to mosh up to show that the hold's real. But I'll tell you right now what that is. That's him working with John Cena. And you don't fucking mosh up John Cena on some shit like I can do an indie guy and take a little liberty to make it look more real for the live crowd. So he is actually implementing the highest level of worker style from the people that he got to work with in WWE and doing that in the ring. Not necessarily that Trent is less than, because Trent is the exact same as that as well. But Sabian or whoever he's going to work with down the road that's not going to be is going to learn. You don't have to beat the shit out of them. You can actually practice this stuff and make it look real. And he's doing really well with that. That being said, because our offense is similar, I like to see dudes get laid out harder. but for the safety of working TV and making sure everyone can make it next week, he is a true professional. There's no doubt about that.
What do you think is more important, Hamin? When you hit somebody with the strike, do you think it's more important to hit them hard if you're throwing a strike at their face, a punch or a forearm? Is it more important to hit them hard, or is it more important to not hit them but make it look like you did?
Oh, it's more important to not hit them and make it look like you did. But if I'm in the pocket and it's just light contact or I'm hitting you in the neck sill, I might stop in here. But if I get you or how we're supposed to, I'm not like he's stopping here. He's going whack. He's not even making any meat contact. I like that. I want that on me, and I want to do that on the person I'm working. If I'm in with Hacksaw and it's fucking we stop here, then that's how you do it, and that seems to be where he is. His shit's right here though, and it looks good enough. But if your shit's right here, that's awesome. You got to have somebody on the other side of that to sell it. Like he just murked you. That's why I like this, because even with a guy who's green, that tells him to go sell. And I never get anybody harder than that anyway.
The reason that I ask you this is I've trained thousands of wrestlers around the world doing my seminars and classes. And what would you say, Hamin, if you had to guess, when I'm going over forearms with somebody, what would you say the percentage is of people that when I ask them what a forearm is, they really hit their opponent with the forearm?
I got to say probably of the kids in this generation, I got to say 40% probably as high as that. Is it less or more?
90 or above.
Wow.
Well, that's a lot.
Including some people that are pretty damn good workers for the younger generation. So I've had to teach countless people how to throw a forearm without hurting somebody, how to pull it, how to throw strikes like we're talking about with Miro that are this close and just brushes. Or if you're going to make contact on the neck, which is something I do with like a punch, we got that minimal contact.
Yeah.
But no, people like, especially here on the Florida scene, when you see them forearm, they really think that they're bashing each other. It's not in the nose, but it's either in the jaw, sometimes the head, the neck.
Yeah, you don't want to do that with me. I'll tell you that right now. And here's to all the kids who would even think that. If you're saying hit hard, it's wrong in wrestling. If your answer to any question is hit him for real or hit him harder to make it look real, you're wrong. Like, you need to stop and go, I need to make everything look like it feels like that, but it is the softest it could possibly be without being completely phony. That is the id of your entire fucking job. Okay? Like, and to protect someone. The answer should never be hit them harder unless it's UFC shit. So that's just I blame Jargo. I blame Jargo in New Japan.
And there's a difference between that, what we just described, and being snug when it's a mutual situation. Like if I'm in a match and I chop somebody, I want them to chop me back, and it's got to sound good or it sucks. If I club somebody over the back, I'm going to make some sound off of that, and I'm going to tell that to them as well. You know, there are some things we have to have some physicality to it, but it's mutual. But anything to the face or head, we should never, ever be really hitting each other in the face or head. I'm sorry, wrestling fans, if I let you down. Now you know there's no Santa
And your
Claus.
face and head have the least amount of meat on them to make a slap sound. Now, only when I hit you in your cheek and your face. So a forearm is only going to be nothing but club, and you're not going to get the desired action effect result of to do it. Now, most guys will start fucking slap their thighs, hitting fucking elbows. So whatever.
Goddamn Jargo. But you can listen to the goddamn Jargo.
On that four corners match, it's Money and Cardinal in the end versus Pac and Lilas. And fucking Pac goes for the hot tag, in comes Lilas. They got a feed for fucking Lilas. Lilas whack. Off goes Cardinal. Nobody stays in the pocket. Money feeds in. Money feeds in tight just so he can take one, spins around and walks right the fuck out, dude. Dude, no way does anybody want to stand there to wait for another one from Lilas. It's all over with.
Love it.
Yeah, me too, man. I was laughing my ass off.
Immediately after that. Oh, go ahead.
Last thing we left out, and Matt, then I'll let you take it. We had Chuck earlier in the match fight off screen with Sabian to get them out of the way, leaving just Orange and Penelope out there. Their interaction was cut very short, and then later it was in picture prior to the Dark Order running back in to whoop Orange Cassidy's ass. But then we see these people returning back for probably what you're about to go over.
Yeah, so after the match, of course, Miro put Trent back in the game over is what he's calling that finisher, the clutch. And then the bell rings over and over. Chuck Taylor does ambush him from behind, but then Kip comes in and takes everybody out. And then Miro goes outside of the ring, kind of goes back after again Trent and Chuck. And then you see Orange Cassidy come back out. And he jumps off the top turnbuckle, taking them all out. And then Miro and Sabian and Penelope scurried away. And that's how that segment ended.
So Chuck starts I'm all over the place. I'm like you guys today. I'm smoking that Denver shit. Miro starts shit talking Trent's mom again after the match, which is great heat. Right. Then all of a sudden the Equalizer runs out, who is Orange Cassidy, to do a coffin drop onto the guys on the floor. Earlier, we just saw 5 minutes earlier, we saw Orange Cassidy get jumped by 10 men.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I was like, why is he back on this show, bro?
See?
And why don't we
guys,
just give
did
that
you see that? Oh, 10 guys. I told you we could do this with 10. Shamrock, we got to bump it up to 20. But as you saw, 10 guys all at the same time took it all out. It works. We can do this. Go ahead.
And look, this is Orange's thing. Hands up, pockets, thumbs up. Leave the coffin drop with Darby. I don't care if Orange was doing it on the Indies or whatever. This fucking Darby's finish. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Other than that, great segment.
No, it's his signature shit. I was like, and why is he even back out here, dude? The whole thing is when he never here wasn't bad. I don't think he should have come out in the match. You know what I mean? It needed to be something again where it's a reveal on him. His whole thing is not being overexposed, and you're overexposing him on the show. The more you show him, the less the slacker thing really means. You have to come up with innovative ways to have him pop up out of nowhere, just like they did in the street fight with the trunk thing. That's a perfect example of how you need to use him to the max capacity.
Had he been the last person to go through the curtain, everyone else was in front of him. Then the Dark Order came out, swarmed him, and beat him down. Then Best Friends ran out for the save. Cool. We could have got the same thing across.
We then went back over to another pre-recorded segment, this time with Jim Ross and Hangman Adam Page. Asks him about the world title eliminator tournament as Page sips on his drink. Page talks about knowing from the beginning when he saw himself that he was on one side of the bracket and Kenny was on the other, that they would end up in the finals. So it's not really a big deal, which JR kind of starts to kind of call him out on it. He points out that Page is sipping on that drink and knows it isn't his first. Asks if Page is nervous. Page admits he is, but says everyone who steps through that curtain is. JR leaves Page with some words of wisdom from his mama about, I forget what it was. I didn't write that down. Sorry. Anybody?
Oh, I have that down because I like the quote. Moderation, my boy.
Moderation. Yeah. Didn't like this, man. Like, we're at the pinnacle of this feud payoff, and he's not playing drunk, but half slurring and not taking it serious. And I think we should be out of this mode right now. This made me less interested because he's more interested in drinking than he is being number one contender and doing that and trying to be cool. I thought this was a spot where he could have actually put the liquor down. He could have said, you know what, JR, I haven't drank in 6 days. I haven't had one drop because I'm dead ass serious about this. Instead, he's losing and like, okay. All right. I thought this really lowered the stakes. I don't think this helped. I really don't.
I'm going to invite you to try to see another perspective on it. Here's why I like this segment. I think there was some deeper psychology to that. Think of somebody who drinks often or uses any substance. Once they become stressed about something or they're downtrodden for whatever reason, they're going to that crutch. So telling that story of him being afraid to lose this match because he lost the first one when he already said he would be the first champion. Now what if he loses this one? He's already lost his tag team and the belts. He's fucked. He's drinking now to cover up those feelings. So to me, the psychology of it made sense. The way you laid it out would have made sense as well. But I'm okay with the way they did it because I think they showed a deeper layer of human emotion, intentional or not, that we don't get often on wrestling TV. And that's the kind of shit I love. I love seeing human, real psychology on my wrestling.
To me, he's John Wayne, and John Wayne wouldn't be acting like slurred. He'd take a shot. He'd no sell it. He wouldn't take a shot and it wouldn't affect him at all. He'd just be time to go to work and let's lay him down out there. This felt to me like some I'm coping casting couch shit off of another weird couch scene where this guy should be reinventing himself instead of we're sitting in an apartment on a couch together in a weird scene. Like, for what this story was, neither of coming off of, like I said, Moxley and Kingston and the pre-produced stuff we saw with them, both these scenes lowered the level of what the story of getting these guys over. And now if Omega goes over, he just beat a half drunk. He didn't beat a guy at his best to become the number one contender. And if he goes over drunk, you got beat by a fucking drunk and you suck shit too. So the going into the pay-per-view, these guys should both be crystal clear focused, with Omega knowing that it's his chance to fucking claim his victory and birthright of what he wanted to when AEW started, and Page being off the booze because it was easier drinking when you only had a tag team partner, so you only had to do half the lifting, so I could do a little of that. But now, brother, I'm fucking focused. I know I fucked up the first time. And you know what, JR? It's not about moderation. It's about saying no, and it's about saying yes to my future. That's stronger stakes than what we got coming out of here of like, feel empathy for me because I drink, because I have confusion and scared sometimes. I don't want my cowboy to be scared. I want my cowboy to fucking ride into the fucking Indian camp, guns a fucking blazing, taking out 20 on 1. You know, like that. I just think this was a choice, and I think it might have been the 5th or 6th choice of the strongest road on the list of how I would have played this out. So,
well, I can't say I agree with you there, but hey, don't forget there is a possibility that Hangman's just setting up a shit snare.
It could be. Well, here it is there. Now that's the other part. So he's drinking. Then he does the run in later, and it got me hot. It made me laugh, but it got me hot. He's doing the run in for the save on the Bucks shit, right?
And we're coming up next. Yep.
Right, but we're on him right now. And here's your Trailer Park Boys reference. He don't even drop the drink when he comes in for the fucking save. He Julians the whole thing and has the fucking drink in his hand the whole time, which makes it the scene that was supposed to have heat with Tully and those guys is now a gimmick about him being drunk, which, believe me, me and Sil are the biggest Trailer Park Boy fucking marks. But that is not the place to do the fucking Julian spot. Because now, if you're going to establish that, Sil, what's he need to do against Omega?
First of all, lower your glass in front of Julian.
Is that a mustard glass? Holy shit, that's tough.
Second of all, do not disparage the good name of Hangman Page. It's possible it's just iced tea and he's not drinking
What
it.
does he have to do in the match now?
I guess use it, hit him with the glass or something.
He has
like
to wrestle the whole time with it. Julian would not put his fucking drink down. So if you're going to do a run in and do a Julian comedy spot, guess what? You're going to wrestle with it too. If it's that important to you, things like that really chat my ass, bro. Like I get you want to get gimmicks over but there's sometimes where we have to elevate the character and what they're doing, not just reinforce the funny stuff. You can't pack all of that shit into one scene when it's about Matt Jackson's leg and building about FTR. As soon as he came in holding that glass, we were off to the comedy fucking things, and the reality of what was going on there they were trying to create got lessened.
Matt, did you get haha out of that? I didn't get haha from that part with Hangman. Did you see comedy?
No, I didn't see comedy. In fact, I expected Hangman to hit Kenny over the head with the glass. That's what I thought he was going to do. So I was a little disappointed there was no more heat being built between the two from that encounter.
Instead, he fired up and held onto the glass the whole time. How real is that? Let me sidestep and hit you on the glass side and see how quick you fucking can block it. Because you're going to put your hands up and put fucking liquor in your face. Like, it just, like, shit like that is a bad choice because it makes it about Hangman at that point. And even with Omega coming down and they want to get that part of the elite story, I get all that, but that's packing too much into it. You had your focus time. This is Matt's ankle focus time. And when we do all these little bits layered on top of it just to get it over, it's not the right directing choice, you guys. It just isn't.
There you go. You've heard it from Hamin.
Well, there you go. So after that, then yes, we get into Taz here as we've got there's a video package that airs about the Young Bucks and FTR for Full Gear, and then immediately following that, Taz and Brian Cage and Ricky Starks come out and interrupt. Taz comes out on the entrance ramp, says he's annoyed by Will Hobbs not responding to his offer. Then he makes his way down the ringside, talks about waiting outside the office of Tony Khan all day for a meeting and getting nothing. Talks about being a believer in the ranking system before talking about his guys not getting the credit or opportunities they deserve. He mentions the fact that Brian Cage is the #1 contender. Talks about Ricky Starks not even being ranked before letting Starks go off on the mic. And then they basically lamented the fact that they do not have a match at Full Gear. Taz takes the mic back, goes on to say that he has two perfect opponents in mind for Cage and Starks at Full Gear. Before talking some trash to Cody, who he addresses. Loses his cool, talks about Team Taz being worked by the company before vowing that Team Taz will have a presence at Full Gear this Saturday. I mean, not much more to talk about in this, other than the fact that Taz is just, he's good. Go on the mic.
Starks was great in that too.
Starks was good too, yes.
Yeah, they're using them the right way. And Taz with these little mini shoots, I like that kind of stuff. That's what I was talking about earlier, where he's doing it in-house. I like that. And even afterwards when Jericho buries fucking Excalibur for hanging outside of Khan's office for being a stooge as well, that makes me fucking laugh. I like those things. But this is what the mouthpiece Taz should be for these guys to protect them in both these. And that also brings up the point of why are we sticking to the sports model of being 10-1 or, you know, 10s? Like, are we, when we see when ratings are up, and ratings are up when it's about entertainment and not logistics and wins and going 20 minutes for no reason whatsoever. When we have entertainment, that's what drives the product. So we need to kind of get away from this failed win streak model or failed analytics. It's going to be a sports model, because all that does is open you up to your detractors when you do something like MJF and Jericho and the song and dance thing, for them to go, I thought it was going to be sports based about wins and not some entertainment. We want to be entertained. We want things to pop us. So you got to get away from the other and just chalk it up as like, hey, it's growing pains. It's learning wars.
I don't see it going anywhere, sir, especially on the latest edition of Being Elite that was titled Wins and Losses Matter, where Brandon Cutler finally picked up his first victory, 1-25-1.
The only reason that video came out is because Khan is selling for the detractors who ask him about that in the scrum, instead of going with a solid business plan. When they hit 1 million that week, it was because entertainment, lesser matches, storytelling, entertainment, but the team come back. So that's what no one's telling him. That's the model you need, because they're susceptible to feeding for their audience and selling for them. So when they say it's not about wins, we need a wins video, guys. What are the and now we're not looking at where our successes were. We're looking at how can we appease this small portion of our audience who can make us look bad, instead of just saying, go get fucked. We run the show here, and this is the move we're making. You're either along with it or you're not. You know, it's a total sell for them.
Yeah, I'm good with the ranking system, and there's been ranking systems in wrestling for decades. I think the win-loss counter sometimes works in people's favor, sometimes doesn't. So I'm kind of indifferent as to whether or not they keep it. I think maybe they should only say their record if it's really good, like how MJF has only lost 2, but maybe shouldn't have to say it for everyone. But I'm totally cool with the rankings and think they should continue those.
You know what I don't like? The only thing I don't like about Brian Cage right now is I don't like him using Canyon's catchphrase. That's the only thing I don't like about
it. And I'm only going to fight people who have possibly been infected with COVID and take DQ COVID wins and go on a 120 COVID win streak till I become number 1. And then I'll never wrestle one match. And then whoever is champ that I have to fight, I will send in a Typhoid Mary to then get them COVID, and I will become champ without ever fighting once, just so I can juke the system of analytics to make sure the win streaks matter.
Try it.
I just fuck myself over just by getting people
better than Ben Hamin. Who better?
The reason he does that, Matt, is Canyon was one of his mentors, so it's a tribute to Canyon.
It might be, but I don't know. He just doesn't sound good when he says it. You know, it doesn't sound good. Brian Cage saying rolling off the tongue. I don't know. That's my opinion. I'm not saying he's just whatever. I just don't like it. I don't like it. No one better than Canyon. Stop saying
party.
Private Party versus Young Bucks. We hear both those guys come out, coming by Matt Hardy. He's out at the ring before Matt Hardy enters the ring, and he's attacked by Sammy Guevara. Guevara hits him with the twist of fate quickly, punches him a little bit crazy on the ground, and then the rest of Private Party scares him off. So Matt Hardy has been taken out of the match before it even begun, as far as the on the outside there for as the man.
Matt had it coming. He hit him in the fucking face with a chair in the first segment.
Yeah, I don't know. He did. Well, after the conclusion of this match, we saw the double leg team finisher, and the big team double team finisher that they do, the Meltzer driver thing, whatever it is. Nick Jackson picked up the victory. The winner of this match was the Young Bucks. More or less, the story is afterwards.
We're not saying that they aren't great.
No, we're not doubting that.
Clearly, they are. And then you think about where we've been in the last year, and things haven't exactly gone our way. We'll be the first.
Let's be honest, not at all.
Pretty interesting tweet that I just saw while you were saying that, of the Bucks admit things haven't gone their way the first year. Yikes. I don't know if I put that stuff out there, man. That's not the PR message I would want to put out there.
But inevitably, what ends up happening, which you guys alluded to earlier, was the after effects of this match was more of the story. But Silvio, what did you think of the match itself between Private Party and the Bucks?
I thought it was really good. This was a last-minute match. Scorpio Sky was supposed to face Spears, I believe, and this was put in. Nick Jackson had a really great opening sequence with Mark Quinn, and I really got to put over Nick. He's very fucking good. Nick Jackson is an animal in the ring. He did a hell of a job in there this week and just really impressed me. Performer to performer, the shit he does is not easy, and he does it effortlessly. Nick Jackson is a hell of a wrestler, as is Matt. Matt did a good job as a storyteller. I think the Young Bucks sometimes get underrated as storytellers because they have so much flashy offense and tend to put a lot of spots in their matches. But when it's time to sell a story, Matt does it very well. He did it great with the back before. Now he's doing it with the ankle. The only bad things I could say, and it's not even a bad thing, but the only critiques I could really give this, I think we could see some of Private Party's inexperience in a lot of the timing parts in this match. And the Bucks previously have been pretty good at hiding that. So we just got to get Private Party training more and get them in more matches. And I think they'll be all right.
Yeah. It's really their
that's cool.
Private Party strikes is what exposes them. And that's a pretty easy thing to fix, really. The gloms and things like that. Nick is a beast. I totally agree with you that he shines whenever he gets the chance to do his offense. And people will never know what it's like going, not that I do up to the top rope, but I've been there and just like look down of like, I got to do what now? I just got to do a simple fucking, meanwhile, he's doing all this crazy shit. Fuck no, bro. Not in my repertoire. So my hat's off to him. How about the fucking bump old boy took off the fucking top rope to the WCW ramp and
flip bump, Isaiah Cassidy.
Bro. Devastating. And I remember getting shit canned at that fair show that we used to do in Kentucky, and they had the WCW ramp, and I hit on that, bro. Oh, everything, like I almost shit my pants, knocked the wind out of myself, and it's shorter of a fall than it is to the ground, but you're hitting at the most velocity to not be able to stop yourself, man, and that was bad. And I saw him go off the top and land like that. And nothing moved. You just saw all impact on his body, dude. I don't know if I want him taking that bump, A, but B, on TV, that's your full gear bump. You know what I mean? To be doing that down and out, that if you had a match on Full Gear, that taking that bump can ensure that you're not going to have one, because that is a stiff motherfucker, man. I felt bad for him after that, but the ankle heat was great because my ankles are all fucked up from skateboarding years ago. And just to watch him even sell it, my ankle started throbbing and hurting and shit. So that's how I know he was doing a goddamn good job on the sell that way. But then we get the run in with Julian holding the fucking glass, and that kind of killed me, bro.
Yeah,
I really loved the finish as well, because they told a great story with that. The first time Private Party countered the Meltzer driver to win. In the next match, they went to do that as a false finish. This time they did it again, but Matt reversed it into his own pin. So I love the threading of that story.
And then they hit their other little side finisher, the V trigger.
Double V trigger.
Yeah, so a good switch up to win in the end. I like that instead of just get your old shit in and fucking take it home.
Sorry.
Well, you're fine. Afterwards, we then saw, as you mentioned, FTR comes out and they attack the Young Bucks, and they put Matt's leg in the chair, and Cash goes to the top like he's going to jump off and smash it down. Hangman runs out with the alcohol, which scares him off. I don't know how 3 guys in the ring are scared off by 1 guy holding a glass, but I would have just stood at the ropes and maybe intimidated him some more, but I guess they were afraid. So they leave, and then Omega comes out, and then they do a little fist bump at first. And then after that, they kind of just jaw jack a little bit, and then that's how the scene ends. And they quickly cuts to break after that. So that was the scene. That was the full scene. So you guys have already talked about it, though. So
I popped when he goes, Tully looks like he's 25 years old.
Jericho's on commentary is fantastic tonight. Well, afterwards, we got probably, I thought was the best promo, you might say, interaction between Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. So we come back from that break. Tony Schiavone is standing in the ring with a microphone, introduces the champion, AEW's champion for the John Moxley, introduces the match itself. It's going to be an I Quit match. Eddie Kingston's brought out. He comes out to the ring. Of course, he tells Tony Schiavone to get the hell out of the ring. Was the cameraman in the ring this week? I didn't notice that. Did he have to get out of the ring? Because I know Kingston yelled at him last week.
To get his ass in the ring.
Well, that was before that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't know if he ended up getting out after this.
No, he wasn't. That might be a rib. Like Taz might have been ribbing him after he got told last week. Rib him and tell him to get his ass in the ring. And then when we go back out there, his ass better be outside of the ring to see if we fuck with him. Like I could totally see some fucking
that production, that camera operator guy who's just trying to do his job. Poor camera operator.
That's the boys.
Poor camera operator. I like when I watched it last week and get the hell out of there. Come on. I was like, oh, I felt a little, my heart dropped a little bit for that camera operator, but I thought it was funny.
There's all kinds of shit going on, whether it's Justin Roberts, like guys will be in his ear, whoever. This just happens in Gorilla and fans don't know. Be like, touch your pocket if you think that Matt Jackson sucks. And he'll be like, and he'll be announcing and he'll touch his pocket or whatever just to fucking pop the guys in the back. Pick your nose if you think that she's got big gimmicks. And you never know, she might come out. No, there's all kinds of shit like that goes on that fans will never know.
So anyway, Kingston starts off. He settles in the ring, tells Schiavone to do his job, hold the mic up. And Schiavone then introduces the champion, and then he tells him to get out. So I apologize. I did skip that. He says, get the hell out of the ring. Then Kingston demands Moxley to be cut off. He talks about his grandmother and his mother and says that they've got Mox to thank for him not having any grandkids or children because the title that Mox holds means that much. He goes on for a bit, tells him that it's Mox's turn, and then Mox then begins on Kingston. He basically starts cutting him down, talks about kind of gets really emotional here, if you will. It was a very emotional segment. It felt very realistic, that came through, very intense between the two guys. Obviously, two guys who know each other well and know how to work with each other. As Mox puts him down, basically ends up telling that unfortunately you're not gonna make your grandmother proud, as you're not gonna come up short beating me this Saturday at Full Gear. But it was a great, fantastic promo from both guys. Silvio,
serious emotional storytelling. I loved it. The line, you better get ready to kill me. This is real. Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, that was good.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
I don't care about this fucking show. You better get ready to kill me. It was great. Yeah.
This is what Reigns and Uso want to be doing, and they're trying, but it's got Vince McMahon and Bruce sprinkled all over it, and that's the problem. This is these guys doing it the right way, the street way, and not being able to touch. I don't like Eskimo kisses, nose to nose. Never would I do that in a fight with somebody. That's too much. We could bend right here. We don't need to be right here because now we've gone into some weird thing that's no longer a fight to homoerotic. We're almost kissing. And we need to have at least that amount of separation. And then I like I love the shot with him standing over his shoulder and him having to listen to it, being right in his ear. That was great visual, great stuff. And like you said, so that line I like, and you made that promise to your mother. Don't talk about my mother. Like that type of shit fucking makes me laugh. Even though it's a serious moment, it's the awkwardness of it.
When you talk about more symbolism there too, when Kingston turns his back at, after cutting his promo, talk about how Mox leapt him, it was like, I'm gonna turn my back on you, right? As he just that little,
and he just walks out. He doesn't do the wrestling way. That's the thing. He's making everything very real. My question to you is, who do you put up here?
Moxley.
I think you kind of have to put Kingston if you want to keep pushing over, because Fudge brings up a good point, or I'm sorry, JC, big sports fan, brings up a good point by saying they're making a big deal about Kingston getting a title shot when this is his third title shot and the second against Moxley. So he's already lost to Cody, he's already lost to Mox. Do you have him lose again?
Yes.
No, I don't. I put him over here because Moxley is very cool and he's fucking a good champ, but he's not a big attraction. And by that, I mean a 6'8", 300-pound Brian Cager, right? Like that's a guy who would have go over strong. So before Moxley becomes jump the shark and we get tired of him, let's take the belt off him and have him chase it, because he's just as cool chasing it. To keep him on top and keep him cool is a lot harder. If you have a heel, even as a short term, they can come back and do a little gimmick run with different matches if they want. even trade it 2 times. But if you stop Kingston right now, he has to go back down the ladder when you put him up so fast. So to me, I say put the belt on Kingston in a shocker, and it's not going to hurt Moxley because he can stay right in the cut and come back over the top anyway. So, and as outside of what it does for business, that's 2 best friends, one doing business for the other to make him. It ain't going to hurt the other guy and take anything out of his coffers paycheck wise. And you could actually put the belt on him Saturday and take it off him on Wednesday in the rematch. And it wouldn't hurt Kingston either, but he'd finally be made as a top guy in the eyes of the fans outside of being an indie guy. And he's working his ass off to get in shape in a short amount of time. Not that he shouldn't have been in shape when he showed up there, but you can just tell diet wise, looks wise, he's trying to hit that cardio to make sure he can be in as good a shape as he can be for this Saturday.
I think at best they could do something where he steals it in some way. And I don't mean like pulling the tights to win, but like some kind of technicality, like the time that DiBiase paid Andre to win the title, and then Andre handed it to DiBiase, and it became.
How do you do that? And I quit, though. So how do you do
a tape recorder? Pull out your phone.
If they do it, Eddie Kingston cannot beat Jon Moxley straight up in this match. They can't let it happen, in my opinion. Maybe one day, but
even
I
if it's see, because I see that he could. Because one of my favorite matches of all time, and real ECW fans know this match, is the I Quit match between Tommy Dreamer and CW Anderson. And nobody thought it was going the way it did, and it was fucking badass, and both guys got made. And when you lost, when one dude did the I Quit, it wasn't a shocker that the other dude went over. So, you know, that to me, that's how I would model this match after. They can both make themselves with violence. And when you got barbed wire across Moxley's eyes and it shows that Kingston is fucking crazy, Moxley saying I quit ain't going to fucking make the crowd go, what a pussy. Or that Kingston's fucking beat him. He sucks. No one's going to argue. If the level of violence is there to make him quit, you just got to be like, I would have quit 20 minutes ago.
Other than thievery, which makes sense because Eddie had to become a thief, the only other possible scenario I could see if he wins is if Moxley has him on the back end of the match beaten to a bloody pulp and Eddie keeps on going. And it's a dangerous situation where it's something to the equivalent of Moxley's about to throw him off of a building and Eddie can't defend himself. And Moxley has this moral dilemma at this point. Do I take this further and hurt this person who I love? And instead, Moxley says, no, fuck it. I'm not doing this. I quit. So he wins via Moxley's emotional state. Those are the only 2 ways I'd go with it.
Okay. Not bad choices. I just think basic, put it on the heel, let him be cool and chase it. If
MJF couldn't get it, I don't think they should give it to Eddie Kingston. He hasn't been there long enough. He hasn't been established long enough on TV. Maybe a year from now, yeah, I'd be down with it, but I don't think Saturday's the day.
My thought process is that Mox probably is going to end up retaining, and then it's probably going to end up rebuilding back to Kenny Omega versus Mox again, because they really kind of didn't get to pay off too much of that just due to, injuries. Initially, it started that feud last year, and then eventually, Mox ended up beating him, but then quickly turned right back around and went after the championship. So, in fact, I thought it would. I mean, I know Omega's in this tournament, but I thought it would have been a more perfect opportunity during the 1-year anniversary to have Omega and have Mox have some interaction because they had it on the opening night as well. But that being said, I think that's what they're probably going to go. It's probably they're setting up for Omega versus Mox again, even though I'd rather see Kingston as the champ because I'm tired of seeing heels chase baby faces. I'd like to see a heel at the top of the brand itself.
I could see that happening, Matt.
But speaking of a heel, next up we got an update from the Bastard Pac making his first appearance in months.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. We see him in a heavily produced video package talking about the funny thing about isolation is that you have nobody to play with. Video features like a lot of different quick cuts with him in different poses and his gear, and then of course him sitting on the couch. We see some different chops of various scenery, clips of a very intense pack, and then they spliced it together with clips. It was good. Visually, it was good. This is my one hang up right now with AEW, and they do it on Being the Elite too, is nobody's using like a shotgun mic or a lav mic, and I can't fucking hear what these people are saying. If you're gonna shoot a promo in an open room like that, you have to give me some sort of audio or get close to the person talking so I can understand what they're saying. That pisses me off so much when I'm watching BTE and I've got audio levels jumping down between minus 18 decibels all the way up to like -2. And this promo
Thunderdome is just as bad with crowd noise mixes. Brutal in Thunderdome, even worse. He might have shot this all on his cell phone and they might have overlayered it in After Effects.
You can go get or off Amazon UK for $50. Order a lav mic, bro. You're sitting at home. You had a whole week probably to figure this out. They could have sent them a mic. I don't know. It doesn't take very long to hook up your mic into the phone and then clip tie. Come on, man. Pisses me off. Minus 18 on TNT. Unacceptable.
He wasn't even wearing a shirt. You couldn't clip it.
Well, no, the suit and tie part he was. When he was talking, he was actually, yeah, you know, put the goddamn clip on, okay? Anyway, so after that, then we get a backstage update here with the Butcher and the Blades and the Natural Nightmares, as we see Alex Marvez standing by with the Natural Nightmares. Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall start talking, but as they begin, the Bunny comes in, giggles, and says, thanks for buying all that stuff, but unfortunately, all your credit cards have been maxed out. And then on that note, the Butcher and the Blade come in. They beat down Dustin and QT and then throw the set of the AEW backdrop on them as they left that scene. What did you think of this, Silvio? Did you like Butcher and Blade maybe finally starting to get a little bit of mojo here back?
I like it. You're giving them their own story. I think there's a lot of ways you can go with the QT Bunny thing. Hamin and I riffed about it a little bit last week. I think that's a fun angle that I would love to give some more input into. So yeah, I'm cool with it.
They already hit us up, Sil, online saying, didn't you guys pitch this last week? I said, put it side by side if you want. Tag them. But
Rick messaged us about that, yeah.
Pepper and Cherry getting over is I'm more than happy with that. I like the violence here. The bait and switch with the sex appeal. Came in after he was down, threw the garbage can, hit him in the head with it. That was pretty fucking violent. This felt like good ECW to me, and I like that. I like that a lot.
Good stuff. They all did good. QT did good. Dustin is fucking the man, and I like Butcher and Blade getting a shot. And good job.
Dustin's lean too, huh? Dustin's real lean right now.
He looks great.
So up next, we had our women's match on AEW tonight, Red Velvet versus Nyla Rose. Before we get to that, though, I did have a question here from Mark, and it had to do with the women's wrestling, so I wanted to save it till we got here. It had to do with Serena. I thought it was a little bit of a fun question. This one's for you, Mr. Ben. His question is, any idea why Serena has one dark color boot and one white one?
Yeah, sure. If you look at also her new jacket on the back, the yin and yang stuff, finding peace in the middle. Her yoga is pretty much her lifestyle. So there's new Namaste Sloth yoga shirt that's Pro Wrestling Tees just put out, her first official shirt. So she's pumped about it. But yeah, that's what it is. The light and the dark. She can be as badass as she needs to be in a technical match against somebody. She needs to grind out. She's not just going to come out and smile and be the Serena that you want to be. She's put her time in this. So she's always searching for that balance, but sometimes if she's got to go to the darker side, she will. If she's going to be Ring of Honor handshake and give you a great technical match, you can do that too, man. So that's kind of where she's going with it right now. But she also just got new boots from SteveTheShoeMan.com, and they were white boots that she's had airbrushed with some very cool yoga stuff on it with the chakras and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. So that's going to be her brand, and you can see it in her body, why her body is different than everyone else's. It's that lean, lanky yoga, and she didn't used to always be like that. She had a little power lifter thing going on before, but now she is lean muscle mass all the way. So I look forward to seeing more and more technical wrestling from her. But yeah, good question, man. It's yin and yang, finding balance.
Thanks for that.
I got to do a kayfabe call Hamin style real quick. You boys take it away.
Yeah. There it is.
He has to step away. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought okay. So after that, we got Red Velvet versus Nyla Rose. And I'm not going to go through this because it was clearly just a get over match for Nyla Rose. Here's what I thought was interesting, though, Ben, and maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm not a professional wrestler, but just looking at it here, did Nyla Rose's clubbing punches afterwards, the chick she was fighting in the crowd, look really sloppy and really choreographed, like really slow?
Yes.
Or was that just me? Okay.
They were rough, and if you got that barrier between you and you don't want to kill somebody, you know, let's do a better pull apart than that. But at the same time, Nyla Rose shouldn't be like timid. She needs to be Awesome Kong. She needs to go grab that girl and ragdoll her around and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Not just like I'm in a girl fight back and forth. Like she really needs to be taking 90%. Dogs of War agree. She really needs to be taking 90% of everything. So especially if we're going to play the SJW stuff and people know that she's transgender, don't short your strength that you have as a man. You know what I mean? Or had, you know, as far as that goes, there's plenty that they're toning it down for the wrong reasons instead of leaning into it and empowering it for those reasons that would maybe make some people feel uncomfortable, but don't, you know. I thought Vicky Guerrero was great as well.
Because Vicky Guerrero, of course, mocked Red Velvet for coming out with Brandy Rhodes, who she gives a new title to, the CBO of AEW, the Chief Bitch Officer.
Yeah, dude, what's the deal? Like people trying to get in on Brandy, man, she looked like $1 million though, and so did the girl she was with. Yeah, this was Nyla Rose needs to be built up as a monster, and this was a good segment to do it. I just wish they would have even given her a little bit more to ragdoll some girls and leave more bodies laying.
Well, she continued by walking over to Hikaru Shida, and she informed her that Tony Khan was forced to make the match. She then tells her what's going to expect this Sunday, which is broken bones. She does like one of those sarcastic bows, and then this leads to Shida snatching her by the collar, prompting, as I mentioned, Rose to come over and throw those punches. And then there was a pull apart with the announcers doing their best to deliver their sell for the Rose Shida match. So it was like you mentioned, it was decent.
We got Rose Shida, and we also got Serena versus Allison Kay. Which match do you think is going to stand out? And if it was me, I would let Allison Kay and Serena pull 12 to 14 minutes, and I would have Nyla go over in 2 minutes on Shida and show how dominant she really can be. Because why do we want 2 girls matches that are going to go over 10 minutes long? And is it believable that Shida should be going that long with Nyla? No. So I'm interested in seeing if the booking committee and the agent can get it right on this one, on how to make a monster and then also have another girls match and let that be your technical. Let's not work 50-50 on both of these. That'd be a big booking error.
I agree. And I think for, I don't know, maybe for, I guess, maybe importance, maybe you want to show Nyla Rose, hey, she's the stronger, crazy, stronger, big character, and she's our AEW champion, right? So you're showing it as a powerful.
2 quick people lives to keep Shida alive, like one false to like that, and then put her down. Like it's just too much. You know what I mean?
Put her down when you're driving. So anyway, after that, we got a Darby Allin vignette. And this was interesting because we saw Darby Allin like smashing up a car, getting hit by a car. Just very artsy. What'd you think?
Yeah, more stunt show stuff. The skateboard with the spine on it's his thing. We see him later up in the rafters as we go home with the show. But this was good in the vein of I'm crazy and I'll do what I need to do, whether it's vehicular homicide to one of my buddies that I just put a Cody mask on. I like that kind of shit. Like what I would have done, though, like to have seen, though, is let him get hit. And then afterwards, we go back to the dude on the ground and the Cody mask comes off and it's Steve-O or it's somebody else famous to give him that skater club, right. Jack rub. That could have been Chris Pontius. That could have been any of the fucking dudes. It's small attention to detail like that. That's
Rob
important.
Diedrich. That would have been perfect, like a Rob Diedrich.
Yeah. Yep. So all that kind of shit. But I like this. It was good in the same stuntman vein.
All right. Well, then moving on here, Silvio's a busy man, so he's taking some business calls here. We get to the Dark Order versus Cody and the Gun Club for our main event of the night. And good stuff here as far as I liked seeing Austin Gunn, Billy Gunn's son. Sure. I thought he looked pretty good in this match, and ultimately he got the victory.
Good facials from his kid, man. Yeah. It's it on camera on how to get character over. Billy Gunn's punches are awesome. After you see shitty punches, and then you see like it goes Rusev good, then guys not so good, then Billy Gunn. It really shows the fundamentals of the guys in the middle need to improve big time, because those guys just do it in their sleep because of muscle memory. So Yeah, this was solid, shitty 6-man action. I thought Colt was great as well, and I think Colt moving into Brody's spot is the smart fucking move. I don't know. Cody says he just lost the weight and has been working hard, but his body is B12 right on as far as he's looking fucking big as he ever has. So he looks like
even said that.
Yeah, it was a good babyface mixed tag to get that stuff over, to get the babies up going into the pay-per-view, to then do the big promo at the end where Cody has the spotlight on him. And I thought the promo at the end was really, really good as well.
Silvio, we just started going over this match. What do you think about the main event, the 6-man tag of the Colt Cabana now crews, we'll start calling them, versus the Gun Club and Cody Rhodes? You were on mute, sir.
You're on mute, bud.
Now who's chill?
Yeah, now I'm the chillest.
Frig off, Matt. I agree with Hamin. The promo was really good at the end. Got a lot of emotion to it. Cody does look great. Billy Gunn looked phenomenal in this one. I thought it was a good mixed tag. It was an interesting choice. I don't mean for saying it's bad. It was an interesting choice to have some of the lower card guys that are in the Dark Order that aren't really pushed up at the top of the card in the main event, along with Austin Gunn, but I see that they're trying to get him into the picture. So
they should have given him who got the win?
Austin got the win.
What? Yeah.
Got the pin.
I was
first pin on Dynamite.
What did he hit him with though? Did he hit him with a famouser?
I can't remember the move. I feel like
he hit a crossroads on one guy, and then I think he rolled up the other guy.
Yeah,
I would have liked to seen take him out. Big Snabit's fucking famouser for the win on that. That was the only thing I would have could have punched that up just a little bit. But that's who should have got the pin. I just forgot about it. But yeah.
Yep, you did.
Yeah, as I was watching this match, I was like, either I hope Austin Gunn got the pin, or secretly I kind of hoped number 10 from the Dark Order, because I was like, oh, that would have been a cool moment for that guy to get a win in the main event.
I think we missed those, Sil, and this is off WWE pulling all his Sting stuff off a shop, probably because they know the stooge that he's going to show up there. I thought while Cody's cutting his promo, if we were going to do show don't tell, all Darby has to do is fucking, after he's looking down, is look up, raises a finger, and Sting walks up the steps from the back and down and sits down behind fucking Darby, and they just sit there. They never even look at each other, and they're all just looking forward at Cody. And then you see Cody react like, oh, and Shivani, Stinger's here. They're like, you know what I mean?
We gotta go. We're out of time.
I thought that would have been, here's the great promo. Let's do show don't tell. Best acting we do is when we say nothing at all. All they had to do was show him
that
right.
Would have been great. Or even the bird comes and sits on Darby's shoulder.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, guys, there's a lot of good in this. There's just some things that need to be punched up, and hopefully, Julian doesn't drop his drink at Full Gear.
He won't. Great storytelling on this episode all the way through. I thought they all did a phenomenal job advancing stories, telling stories to a level that isn't done often that well in modern wrestling. So kudos to the crew, and I'm excited for Full Gear.
I should also mention that there was another interaction after the match, right? Because the Dark Order started to surround the ring, and then Orange Cassidy came out and he slugged John Silver again, and then they all skirt off. Yeah, that's how that
Cassidy's badass, bro.
Oh yeah, don't you know those slacker ass whippers to come and regulate in town? Come on, man. Let's stop marking out for the guys that we just like, and let's
Rebel without a clue.
So bad, bro.
Anyway, so then, yes, as you mentioned, Cody cut a fantastic promo talking about how he's basically the top dog, and he was the reason why Darby Allin even showed up in AEW. He had to, put him over to the EVPs, going as far as say he had to wrestle him, which was a reference to their Fyter Fest initial match when Darby Allin came in last year. So, the very powerful, good promo from Cody. I mean, he doesn't know how to not a good promo at this point. He's been doing it for so long. So, thought it was good setup for them. I'm actually more intrigued in this than I am in the Young Bucks FTR match. I think the two matches I'm probably looking forward to are the singles action of Cody versus Darby and Mox versus Kingston are probably the two matches I'm looking forward to. And then, of course, Deeb and Kay just got announced, so that'll be a great match as well.
Mm-hmm. Be good.
All right. Well, guys, another edition of Like the Fuse is in the Nitro Bag, and you can jump into the Nitro Bag each and every week by sending us an email to likethefusehmg@gmail.com or join the Hamin Media Group Discord. If you'd like to get a link, or it should be posted in our discussion group, shoot us a message. We'll send it over to you. You can join all the different threads. Drop your comments in the Light the Fuse, and we'll read it on the show as well. I'm your host in the scene where the air is clean, and I'm lighting up green. Your boy, MS Silvio. You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. Guys, check out the Check My Bout. Episode number 47 is up right now with guest host Andrew Bello, where we review Starvin' Marvin in Space. It's available on all podcast outlets, of course, hosted on HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com. Brand new episode as well. The Next Level podcast is up right now with Big Ray and Colin Wysong, and you can check that out as well. So as soon as you're done listening to this, or if you're watching live right now, you better hit play and get that NXT review today. I'm your boy MSG. Mr. Silvio, take it away.
I am Chris Silvio, and for all of your wrestling training and developmental needs, feel free to send me a message, Chris Silvio on Facebook Messenger, or email csilviobookings@gmail.com. And the lovely, badass Jenna Van Muscles is on social media at Genocide000. That's 000, folks. Genocide000.
But she's always number one in our heart, never a zero. So definitely give her a follow, you guys. Everything Sil's got going on, MSG doing great super producer work. New Cage Theories out as well. Colin put that out, so I'll be listening to that for my UFC Pick'em Challenge betting picks for the weekend. We'll be watching Full Gear Watch Along, SmackDown Live Self-Help Group as always. Friday Locker Room, Conspiracy Horseman breaking record numbers, 111 live still on twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. And I'll be making more exclusive content for patreon.com/Hamin Media Group Watch Along. Some fun stuff that way. Athers just sent me an exclusive interview with PCO, so we're going to put that up there as well for first round, and then we'll release it through Hamin Media Group so we can get all the eyes and ears on it for the great work that all of our producers have been doing. Street team absolutely blowing up. Follow at Hamin Media Group, Twitter, Instagram, Conspiracy Horseman now on BitChute as well if you really want to go hard. But the Discord is going to be the next place where all the cool kids are hanging out. So meet us over there. We'll be around the block, infidels. It's Hacker Hamin, it's Chilvio, and the original Chris Silvio here as we light the fuel. As we light it up, baby. Light it up. Click, click. Boom. Y'all.